The following is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Indiana.
When the series began, there were 44 states, a Hoosier was president, and it was 2 decades before the first Indianapolis 500. Since 1890, this rivalry between Division III non-scholarship programs has taken its place as one of the can't-miss matchups at any level of college football. From Greencastle, Indiana, in the campus of DePauw University, it's Wabash, it's DePauw, and it's the Monon Bell Classic. Thanks for joining us today. It has been chilly, down into single digits this week. That makes 40 degrees feel not so bad today. I'm Kevin Lee, along with former DePauw wide receiver Brad Walker-Merca and former Wabash quarterback Steve Hoffman. Brad, tell me what this means, not just for the players, but for students and alums.
Well, when you say Wabash, you say DePauw, the first thing anyone thinks of is the Monon Bell Classic. You know, most of these games, you got mom and dad in the stands, a few hundred people. This one you bring everyone, aunts, uncles, grandparents, brothers, sisters, recruits. They'll be in the stands for both of these schools. It's a huge game, and this is the pinnacle of Division III football.
DePauw's had a solid season, 5-4 with some injuries. Wabash already clinched a playoff spot, but as they say, Steve, past performance not really indicative of results in this one.
Exactly right. The old cliche, throw the records out the window when the Monon Bell comes around, is definitely true. The last 3 years have been decided by a touchdown or less, and I see that again today.
For the first time in 20 years, Wabash starts a freshman quarterback. What is Liam Thompson facing today?
Well, I think Liam Thompson, the first freshman to start, as Kevin said, since 1999 when Jake Knott put on the pads and started as a freshman quarterback. It really depends on how he comes out early and what he can do. But if anybody can get that done, and you've watched Wabash football this year, it is Liam Thompson, number 2. He can do it with his arm. He can do it with his legs.
Chase Andrews, Brad, played well last year. How does that help him coming back?
I think it absolutely will, Kevin. DePauw got down a couple of scores early last year, and Chase Andrews threw a few touchdown passes, got the Tigers back in the game. Now he's had another season under his belt. Similar to Thompson, he can do it with his legs, can do it with his arm. A very efficient passer, but he's probably going to have to take a few more chances down the field for the Tigers to have a win this afternoon.
For the 126th time, these Division III rivals separated by just about 30 miles play again today, and it's for the Monon Bell, and it's coming up next here on Fox Sports Indiana. In Crawfordsville and here in Greencastle, they wait for this day, 364 days per year, and it is time. The Monon Bell Classic, Wabash and DePauw just about ready to get it started. Steve Hoffman, Brad Walker-Merca, Kevin Lee, and down on the field, Will Hampton joins us.
All right, I am glad to be part of this Monon Bell, and this is what they play for right there. It is the official Monon Bell, all 300 pounds of it, and you know, there's a lot of folklore about this thing. It's been stolen, they think, at least 9 times. The last heist was in 1998, and the most recent attempt was just 2 years ago when they had the bipartisan attempt at trying to steal that bell. So will DePauw get a chance to steal it on the field today? We'll find out. But already an honor today for a long-time DePauw person. That's the best way to call this guy, because he's done so many things. Ken Owen, a guy that's been associated with DePauw for over 40 years, graduated here in '82. Today, he got to take part in the ceremonial coin toss. So they're excited for Ken, and he's a big part of DePauw. But today, it's about DePauw, and about Wabash, and about that bell. Guys, back to you.
And Ken helped the home team, his side. They won the toss, they deferred. Wabash is going to get the ball first, so we'll get a chance to see this freshman quarterback from North Central in Indianapolis, Liam Thompson, lead them out on the field. Steve, what are the butterflies, not just for him, but anyone that hasn't played in this game yet?
Yeah, it's bigger than anything they've imagined. You think it's going to be big coming in, but it's quite different when you get out here. Both schools are so entrenched in this rivalry. The key to early in this game for Liam Thompson and any youngster starting is to not try to do too much early. You see a lot of mistakes from young people trying to do too much and just take the game on, as he's done his whole career as a good high school player.
Let's look at the head coaches. First for Wabash, Don Morrell. He was an assistant for 4 years. In his 4th year as the head coach, 2-1 in bell games. He's 32-7 in his 4 seasons. And for DePaul, he's been a head coach at Butler, at Ball State, at Indiana University, and now in his 2nd stop in Greencastle, Bill Lynch, the head coach of the Tigers. He's 2-5 in his career in the bell game. They have been playing since 1890. For the Bell since 1932, when the Monon Railroad decided, yeah, we need a trophy to hand out in this case. But going all the way back to 1890, Wabash leads the series at 100. It was even in bell games since 32, separated by only 5. Remember, in the last 3 years, it's a 5-point differential total in those 3 years, and it's been 2-1 in favor of Wabash. They have won 9 of the last 10. Isaac Avant is back deep to receive for Wabash. We'll see a lot of him. He is their senior running back. And set to kick off for DePaul is Jack Drake. They will use a couple of different place kickers. Drake does kickoffs and longer field goals. Jack Brush does the PATs. And here we go for the 126th time. It's Wabash and DePaul. The Monon Bell is underway, and we start with a touchback.
We're going to look for some early momentum here, guys, for DePaul. I mean, they're trying to pull out all the stops. They've got brand new uniforms, gold uniforms, never worn during this season, brand new for the guys. And Bill Lynch joked, hey, it might get us a first down or so early in the game, but this is a team that has been looking for momentum for the last decade in this rivalry. So anything that works, they're going to pull out all the stops to give it a try.
The uniforms look great. You're not going to miss them today, but they do look great, and that's coming from a Wabash guy. That's pretty hard for me to say, but I got it in there.
It's very fashion forward of you, Steve. I appreciate that.
Liam Thompson can throw the ball. He can run the ball. Doesn't look much like a freshman anymore, and he'll give it straight up the middle in the first carry of the game to Avant for about 7 or 8 yards.
It's a big bruising offensive line for Wabash, and DePaul's going to have their hands full this afternoon.
Yeah, and what we're going to see, and we'll talk about this as the game goes on, we're going to see our linemen moving around a little bit. We're going to see Wabash's guards pulling and tackles folding around a little bit more than usual. Avant with 150 yards last year in the Monon Bell game.
Look at the big men up front and the skilled positions. Cooper Sullivan is also a freshman from Jacksonville, Florida, #1. He's the wideout. Avant straight up the middle. Another first down out to the 40-yard line, or I should say another good run and a first down and a pickup of about 6.
Yeah, and the other thing you're going to see from Wabash today, you're going to see no tight ends, 2 tight ends, or 1 tight end, 2 tight ends, and sometimes 3 tight ends. Like to get the big heavies in there when they can.
2 wide out to the right, 1 tight end. Shotgun for Thompson on first down. Back to pass, all kinds of time. He airs it up down the middle, and it's overthrown for Nick Hammond, his intended receiver. He got bottled up just a little bit.
Pretty good coverage here by Evan Cribbs. You know, the pass was overthrown, but Cribbs was right there on the wide receiver. So to get a big play early, a big win for DePaul's defense.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what each team does on first down. Coach Morrell thinks that's a key. We got to get some yardage on first down to set up a second short and third and short. You don't want second 10s all day long.
4 wides on second down from the gun again. Thompson, quick screen pass over to the right side for Avant, makes 1 man miss, and then 4 gold-shirted tacklers will stop him for about a 3-yard gain. Cribbs again, one of those in there on the stop. Also Joe Zanca. Anthony Sansone, Kayvon Rahimi up front. Jake Labus, their second leading tackler, out with injury again today. So it's Will Behrens, Nathan Seifert, Henry Locke, Brody Good are the linebackers. Dylan Hyatt, Connor Perkins, Josh Coons, and Evans Cribbs are the DBs. On third down, Thompson swings it to the left. Low pass is picked up by Avant. There's a flag on the field. Second effort is going to get him to midfield right at the marker. Depends on the spot and also depends on the penalty.
Yeah, it looked like one of the DePaul linemen rushing upfield was just tackled by one of the offensive linemen for Wabash, and this is going to come back.
Yeah, I don't want him throwing him under the bus if it wasn't him. I think it was left tackle number 78, Nico Morris.
Holding, offense number 78. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Down remains third.
Yeah, it was a good look at it on the left side. Nico Morris just felt that he was getting beat and tried to get both hands in there and pull him down. That's exactly what he did. So the right call by the officials.
So third and a whole bunch now, 17. Trying to get to midfield or just inches shy of it. From the gun, draw play. They'll just try to get as much as they can, and Avant will get back to the original line of scrimmage in this series, to the 40. And the punting unit will come on. One of the key players for Wabash this season is their punter. Joey Ane has had a fantastic season, among the nation's leaders in net average.
Yeah, Joey, 10th in the country right now with the 41.7 average punting the football for Division III punters. That's a really nice average.
Chris Valentine, a sophomore from Speedway, Indiana, is back for the Tigers. Line drive punt, takes a hop. And a bit of a Wabash roll out of bounds right at the 20-yard line.
Well, DePaul's got to feel good about that after the two long runs by Avant. It looked like Wabash was going to be able to just run the ball at will. Don Morell got a little aggressive, went downfield, and the penalty certainly helping there. So a nice stand for DePaul's defense, and now we'll see if their offense can come out and do what they couldn't do last year, which was get some early momentum in the game.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's really going to come down to the trenches, I think, on both sides. You saw Wabash's offensive line getting some good push early, and then that drive stalled. So I know what they want to do here is try to keep Chase Andrews in the pocket.
He played most of the Bell game last year, replaced Matt Labus, who tried to come back from injury. Didn't last long, and it's a handoff on first down that isn't going to go anywhere for Noah Jones. He is dropped by Malcolm Lang in the backfield for a loss.
DePaul gets Andrews and Jones into a game together for the first time in 6 weeks. Obviously, you think that's a plus as the afternoon goes on, but they haven't played together in a while, so maybe a bit of a miscommunication there on the handoff. Just great pressure by Wabash. But Bill Lynch and the Tigers certainly happy to have those two weapons on the field at the same time together.
Jones is a sophomore from Evansville Rights. Will Harris is a senior wide receiver in motion, and he's going to get it on the end around and get about 3. More manageable third down coming up.
Yeah, and the one thing you can see there is the way the Wabash defense runs. Coach Lynch, when we talked to him this week, one thing he said their defense, the Wabash defense, is very active.
Ethan Hudson and Gavin Ritter are the other wide receivers. Defensively for Wabash, David Marsh, Blair Brody, Brandon Peck, Lang, who we talked about. Brandon Yagi is their leading tackler the last 2 years. He is available but not starting because of an ankle injury. Might play on goal line positions. So Jared Bertram is starting at one of the linebacker spots, and on the third down, a little swing pass to Harris is going to come up short of the first down at about the 27-yard line. So 4th and 3, and the punting unit comes out for the Tigers.
That's an example right there. I think you just have to know where the chains are. You're looking for 7 yards, and you're on a 5-yard out, so not going to give you a great chance with the defender draped right on your back, and DePaul is going to have to punt.
Yeah, it's coming from an ex-receiver, right? He knows how to get to those chains.
Never guilty of that. Yeah.
But you're right. We talk about that all the time, right? Why make a catch 1 yard short of the chains?
Ty Johnson is the punter for DePaul. He's also had a very good season. He's a senior. He's used to playing in the Bell game. Freshman Cooper Sullivan, one of their leading receivers, is back to receive the punt. Good snap. Almost blocked. Line drive takes a hop, and it takes a Wabash hop and stops dead at about the 43-yard line. So Wabash will get it for the second time there, exactly 5 minutes into this game.
Yeah, and one of the things you worry about as a coach in this game are the first punts on each team. And, some big things can happen on punts with the snap, with the kick, with the block kick, with the big return. Both teams getting away, their punt team unscathed on the back-to-back punts.
That one was pretty close to being blocked by Sam Marksberry for Wabash. So now the Little Giants starting shy of their 44. Handoff to Avant straight up the middle for a couple. And the ball came loose, and DePaul comes out of there with it. I'm waiting for a signal from the officials. Have we seen one yet? Tigers think they should have it. And I don't think...
Second down.
Yeah, everyone else does not agree, so Wabash will keep it.
And Avant very slow to get up, guys, and he is frustrated walking towards the sideline. He did get up. That's good news for Wabash, but not feeling great after that play.
Well, Wabash going into the season with two Isaacs in the backfield, two really good running backs, Ike James and Isaac Avant, thinking we'd have both for the year, but both have been nursing injuries. Ike James is now out, so really going to the third running back right now.
Mason Durrett is in the game. You mentioned Ike James, who led the conference in rushing 2 years ago. His last 2 years, though, beset by significant injuries. From the gun, Thompson swings out to the left side. Sullivan catches it inside DePaul territory and pushed out of bounds. It'll be a first down at the 43-yard line.
Yeah, an interesting thing about Cooper Sullivan, also a freshman, #1 right there, is he's had 34 receptions on the year. 29 of the 34 have been either first downs or scores.
Big for Wabash. Avant back into the game now. It looked like he was in some pain, but I think he might have been more frustrated about potentially losing the football. So good news for the Little Giants to have him back in the backfield.
I don't think we've mentioned Ivan Martinez. He's one of the tight ends, a senior from Lawrence Central in Indianapolis. He was a blocker mostly last year, but has been a part of the passing game. Watch for him on the right side of the line here. First down inside the DePaul territory. Scoreless in the first quarter. Quick out to the left side. Sullivan catches it, lost the ball. No, they'll say incomplete. He did not have it long enough. Incomplete, second down.
He's pleading his case that maybe he held on to the football, but that's 2 plays in a row that Wabash has been able to exploit a pretty soft underneath zone for the DePaul defense. Let's see if that's a trend to keep an eye on later this afternoon.
Yeah, it looked like what they call RPOs now, the run-pass option that time. Looked like Liam decided to keep it and throw the football.
Did you see that replay?
Yeah, how about Cribbs?
He caught it and fumbled it.
It really looked like it, yeah. Cribbs did a nice job of knocking that out.
Instead it goes as incomplete, second down and 10. A little play action now, and Thompson will keep it, fakes the pitch, and picks up about 2. They'll spot it at the 40. So 3rd and 7 coming up.
And this is right in that part of the field where if you're Don Morell, you may be thinking, hey, I got 2 opportunities here to try to pick up a first down. So be an interesting play call here on 3rd and long to maybe just pick up a few and see if you go for it on 4th.
Yeah, that's a good point. Skylar Narig with a big leg, but this would be a really big leg.
So they need the 33. From the gun, Thompson looking left, has time, comes back to the right, rolling, throws on the run, it's tipped and incomplete. DePaul gets the stop. Heisman Skeens, a freshman from Marion, was the intended receiver. So punt coming up.
That was a nice play by Brody Good to get a hand on the ball there. Had he turned maybe half a second earlier, could have had an interception. That was really close.
Yeah, that's one of those plays where you don't want a freshman quarterback, try to make too many things happen when they're not there, and that was a good example of that.
So Valentine is back at his 10-yard line. Ane from midfield. Try to pooch this one. Valentine calls the fair catch and makes it right at the 9, maybe the 10-yard line. And DePaul will get it for the second time. We're underway, and so far the defenses are prevailing. It's scoreless. First quarter of the Monon Bell Classic. DePaul and Wabash. Stay with us on Fox Sports Indiana. It's chilly day in Greencastle, Indiana, just a little bit west of Indianapolis, but a lot better than it was earlier in the week with snow and temperatures in single digits. When the wind dies down, it doesn't feel too bad. Unfortunately, the wind's blowing a decent amount. Thanks for joining us for the Monon Bell Classic today. Scoreless. Wabash has had it twice. DePaul now has it for the second time, and they're starting deep inside their own territory from their own 9-yard line. Andrees from the gun hands it to Noah Jones, trying to get around the outside, cuts it up and in, and gets about 3 or 4 yards on first down before a host of Little Giants are there, including One of their senior leaders, Artie Akiwa, made the tackle. The senior from Crown Point, just recently accepted to med school. And it was interesting, Don Morrell telling us this week he's actually playing a lot better since he's got that pressure off of him.
Yeah, he thinks it was a weight off his shoulders that, maybe he didn't even realize was going on. Has really played well since, that pressure is off.
And that's why I never applied for med school, so I didn't have to worry about the pressure.
One of just a few reasons for all of us. Oh, that's a nice grab for Will Harris, one-handed. It goes for a short gain, but that might have been up for grabs and a potential turnover if he doesn't get that.
Yeah, it was a nice job there. Get a few yards, make it third and manageable now. And be interesting to see if we see Chase Andrews roll out a little bit more. We saw it on the last third down. He's a mobile quarterback. Try to get him away from that really good Wabash pass rush.
Well, and the Wabash defensive coaches, they want the rushers to stay in their lanes because they said, number 11, if he sees an opening, he can run.
Trips to the left on third and a long 3 for the Tigers. It's a little swing pass. It's the running back, Jones, looking for blockers ahead. He's going to get to the 21, and that is going to be enough for a first down.
And how about Cam Haynes, and really all the receivers out there in that trips formation, but number 10, Cam Haynes, getting the key block to seal that extra yard that Jones needed for the first down. You got to block as a wide receiver, and the guys in gold did a great job there. You see Haynes giving that final push to clear the way for Jones.
Yeah, and in the offenses today, receivers, that's really a big part of their repertoire. They can't just run routes and catch the ball anymore. People want them being able to block.
Haynes is a big wide receiver. He was a backup quarterback last year, 6'5", 220. 2 tight ends, Dak Schnazy in the game, senior from Carmel, and Blake Pichelny, a junior from Fort Wayne Dwenger, on first down for DePaul. Scoreless first quarter. Jones is tripped up, short gain for him on the play, and that's Jake Page, one of the safeties from Lafayette Central Catholic, making the tackle.
Well, Wabash lately, when their defense started clicking this year, started getting Akiwa and Page both up in run support. You're going to see Page take on a big guy there. DePaul pulling the backside guard and tackle in the old counter tray play, and Page, a safety, coming up taking on a big guy like that. Not something he wants to do every play.
Yeah, from his knees, that's a great play.
Yeah.
Good job.
I formation now. And it's the second man, Jones, with some daylight. He's got a first down and a little bit more. Out to the 35-yard line and a pickup of about 14.
One of the things Bill Lynch said that his team must do is get those explosive plays. That's 20-plus yards on a pass or 12-plus yards on the ground. He said we just haven't had enough of them this season. There's the first one for DePaul this afternoon.
They brought in a fullback that time as well. And an extra backer, James Deaton, was one of the extra running backs. So DePaul moving the ball for the first time now after starting inside their 10. They're at their 35. Jones in motion, empty backfield in the gun for Andrews. Back to pass. He'll look over the middle, and it's incomplete. Was there any contact? No. On the coverage, Jose Franco making the play.
We'll take another look at this. Franco may have benefited from that ball being a bit overthrown. There was some clutching and grabbing, but we'll see how much he got away with.
Blake Pichelny was the intended receiver. There was definitely a touch, but was it enough to impede him? It was determined there was not.
I think if the flag's thrown, we all nod our head in agreement. And if it's not, we say, yeah, okay, that's fine. True 50-50 call.
Yeah, it was a right-hand hook, and they also may have deemed that he couldn't have gotten to the ball anyway. It was about 5 yards over his head.
Second down, being chased, throwing on the run, caught over by Haynes on the left side and immediately dropped. Maybe a gain of 1 or so on the play. Cam Ferguson from Park Tudor in Indianapolis makes the play. They've got some big DBs.
And Cam is one of these guys who did not play much early. He was a backup, and then Wabash kind of shifting some things around, and Cam has been on the field about every play for the last 4 or 5 games.
So Wabash essentially plays 5 DBs and just 2 linebackers most of the time, but their DBs, some of them are big enough that they can get up and support the run, like Jake Page, who we talked about, and also Artie Akiwa. 3rd and 9 now. They need midfield for a first down. Jones offset to the right of the junior quarterback, Andrews. He's got some time, throws over near the marker, and extra effort is going to be plenty for the first down.
Well, Andrews got great protection that time, had plenty of time in the pocket to find the receiver coming across over the middle, hit him in stride for an easy first down, and DePaul moving the ball now.
Will Harris has 3 catches on the day now, including this one for a first down. Led him perfectly.
Yeah,
got some extra.
Coach Morrell said he is a possession receiver, and they said, you know, number 15 is going to be able to fly down the field, and number 4 is going to be able to get possessions.
Andrews back to pass. Now he has to run a little bit, and he's going to go down, and down hard. Big loss, lost the ball. It's a live football, and it's going the other way for Wabash, and a touchdown. David Marsh returned it for a touchdown, and Wabash is on the board first.
Which is a great play to get in there and get the quarterback. I think, you know, Bill Lynch may be a little upset the whistle wasn't blown sooner. He certainly had Andrews wrapped up for what seemed like a few seconds. I was surprised, but that's why you play until the whistle or no whistle, and Wabash on the board.
Yeah, there is no wrap up in college, but there is what you're referencing, Brad. There is a forward progress being stopped, and it seemed to be stopped there for a while. That could have gone either way. And what Wabash has rushed at that time was stay in their lanes, and Andrews tried to reverse direction and nothing doing.
Point after is good. And Wabash with Seth Baresh on the sack. David Marsh on the fumble return for a touchdown is on the board first. 3:13 to play in the first quarter. So defense gets it started after DePaul had a drive brewing, and the Tigers will get it right back in just a moment.
Welcome back to Greencastle, Indiana, and Blackstock Stadium. You have Wabash leading 7-0. Hey, we want to welcome all the Wabash and DePaul alumni watching really around the world. They are watching this thing in all 50 states, and there are parties everywhere you look for Wabash and DePaul alumni. We welcome you watching us here on Fox Sports Indiana. Also, here's a fun fact for you. On this date in 2002, Wabash won that day and took over the lead in the series. They haven't lost it since. DePaul actually has only won it 4 times since. Kevin?
Yeah, Wabash has dominated over the last decade, 9 of the last 10, but they've been really close in the last few years. Separated by less than a touchdown total. Wabash gets a defensive score to take the first lead here in the 126th matchup between these 2 storied Division III programs. So the Tigers are going to get it back. Josh Major is back deep to receive this kick from Skylar Narig. Take a hop and into the end zone for a touchback. So now the question is, DePaul was moving the ball. How deflating is this from one where I think they kind of disagree with the call? They thought the play was over, but you got to move on, you got to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely, Kevin. And the positive is you were moving the ball. A couple of first downs, you know, on the ground and through the air, so you're moving it effectively. And you just, hey, get back out there, you regroup, you don't have to sit on the sideline in the cold, and you have another chance here to go put points on the board.
Right, and one of the coaches as we went into this game was talking about resiliency and getting through the through things like that, because Brad and I were talking in the break. It's like, you know, things like that seem to happen in this game, and the teams that respond to it is a team in better shape.
Seth Baresh made the play, a junior from Holland, Michigan. He's their leading sacker of the season, 6.5 now. So DePaul starts again. They'll do the draw to Noah Jones. They'll make an extra effort to get about 3 or 4 when it looked like he had very little on the play. Second down and about 6 coming. Jackson Garrett, one of those that made the stop for the Little Giants.
Jackson Garrett been in and out this year with some injuries himself, and really holding down one of the linebacker positions with Brandon Yagi being out, as Kevin mentioned earlier.
Noah Jones has also missed time for the Tigers, but had 3 touchdowns last week. And he'll get it again here on second down on the draw, and he will bull his way forward for an extra 2 or 3. 3rd and 3 or 4 coming up now.
You see one of the things Jones does well. He's very patient, kind of waited for a second, found a hole, a little bit of hesitation, and is able to get a couple of yards and now make it 3rd and short. And Bill Lynch said he really does everything well, from his patience to his ability to break big plays. He's effective in the passing game. He can block, and you see a little bit of it there.
And both teams really moving their linemen a lot. It's been fun to watch. You see a lot of guards and tackles out in space trying to block people. So not the old zone play that a lot of teams run now where everybody just steps play side. They're really getting some movement.
Duncan West is a tight end in the game. James Deaton gets this handoff, swooping left and going the wrong way. There are 4 red and white shirts there to meet him on a 4th down, and a whole bunch coming up.
And Blair Brody, one of those in the backfield, and that play was just blown up from the beginning. You talk about some of the movement. I think guys moved, and Wabash guys filled those holes pretty quick, Steve.
You had one of the smallest guys on defense, number 7, Jose Franco, and then one of the largest, Blair Brody, making the tackle.
So Aneda punt back near his 10-yard line. And Sullivan just inside his own territory rushes on. He'll get it away, and Sullivan will fair catch the line drive punt at the 45-yard line. And that's where Wabash will get it technically for the 4th time, but really the 3rd offensive possession after scoring on a defensive score last time.
A good field position once again. That could have been dangerous. That low line drive punt. Johnson not called for the fair catch, or Sullivan, sorry, not called for the fair catch of the Johnson punt. But still, Wabash, very good field position. Be interesting to see if maybe they start getting Avant more involved after the success he had very early in the game.
4 carries for 24 yards so far for Isaac Avant. He comes to the left side this time into the secondary and squirts loose for about 7 or 8 inside DePaul territory.
Well, and Brad mentioned the big offensive line for Wabash a little while ago. Wabash offensive line has 2 guys over 300. You got Connor Phelps at a whopping 370 pounds, number 69. He's a right guard. And then the center, Jake Slager, 6'2", 315 pounds. There's some big boys up there.
370 at Division III. That's a guy with his own dining hall at this level. That is big.
Right.
2nd and 3, fake handoff, and the quarterback goes down, and the ball is still loose. Wabash will fall on it, I think, but they'll lose a whole bunch. Thompson got crushed. Avant was there eventually to rescue the ball.
Boy, that ball was on the ground forever.
You don't see that very often.
No.
Good job by Avant to get back there and get on it. And yeah, I mean, Thompson just didn't see this rush coming right here.
And it was Dylan Hyatt.
Oh, and Sansone had the ball briefly, it looked like.
Yeah, he sure did.
And just right between the wickets.
Yep.
So a 3rd and 14 coming up, but first a timeout. Did DePaul call this timeouts?
The end of the quarter.
Oh, the end of the quarter. I'm sorry, the end of the quarter. So we'll switch ends, and a 3rd and long coming up in just a moment. So far, Wabash with the only score of the game, and it came on defense. Seth Baresh had the sack. David Marsh returned it 23 yards for a touchdown. 7-0 Little Giants at DePaul in the 126th Monon Bell Classic. Welcome back to DePaul on a 3rd and 14. Liam Thompson, the quarterback, kept it, didn't get anything. And the punt, DePaul gets it right back, fielded by Chris Valentine on the roll. So DePaul will start from their 17-yard line as we are underway now in the 2nd quarter. Thanks for joining us for the 126th matchup between Wabash and DePaul, the Monon Bell Classic from DePaul. Nick Morose's field at Blackstock Stadium. Kevin Lee, Steve Hoffman, Brad Walker-Merca, and Will Hampton. 7-0 on a defensive score for Wabash. Now the Tigers go to work again from their 17. Chase Andrees will give it to Noah Jones. 3 yards off right tackle. maybe 4 out to the 21-yard line.
DePaul's got to feel really good about the way their defense is played. You know, the big sack and fumble on the last possession there for Wabash. But now offensively, you just wonder when they may take some chances down the field, look for some of those explosive plays, or continue to pound with Noah Jones, who's been able to get 3 and 4 a pop. But what they can't do is have those negative plays that we saw throughout the first quarter.
Yeah, and the only time this game has really seemed to have good rhythm is when DePaul started getting some first downs, because neither offense really seemed to move the ball. And then they're still down 7-0 because of the big fumble.
Bill Lynch was pretty open, though. We really can't expect to go toe-to-toe and control the line of scrimmage with Wabash. We are going to need a couple of big plays, a couple of big scores. Jones on 2nd down, avoids getting stopped in the backfield, but doesn't find a whole lot more. Out to the 24, 3rd and 3, maybe 4 coming up.
And Brock Heffron, 48, not making the tackle, but was really instrumental in that play, going outside, making it look like Jones had some room to the outside, but he had to cut it back up because Brock Heffron was there.
And again, the other starting linebacker, Brandon Yagi, is dealing with an ankle injury. He is available, and we expect we'll probably see him a little bit, especially on short yardage situation. But Jared Bertram starts for him. Jackson Garrett, one of the other linebackers. The defense has been stout for Wabash all year long. 3rd down from the gun. Andrews is back, throws. Harris makes the catch, but shy of the marker by about a yard, maybe 2, to the 26-yard line. So 4th and short coming up.
I harped on it before, and I think it was Harris too. Again, you got to just know where the sticks are. Run that run that route 1 yard deeper, so when you come back, as he does right here, you're still beyond the 1st down marker. And unfortunately, Harris again just short of the yard to gain.
Heffron was there for the tackle. Punting unit is on again for DePaul.
And Wabash is, barring something unforeseen, going to get really good field position again. Just something, DePaul just living on the edge here offensively.
Cooper Sullivan is just inside his own territory. Ty Johnson takes the snap, and he will hit a line drive, and that is going to get a massive roll inside the 10 to the 5. Can they get there in time to down it inside the 3-yard line?
Well, that was unforeseen.
That's almost a 75-yard punt. We'll wait for the stats to get us that one, but wow, and then to stop it. He backed it up on the 1, Brad.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's exactly what DePaul needed. But, Johnson's kind of that soccer-style run-out punter, and that's what you hope for when you have that kicking style, that you can get one that will roll end over end just like that. And great job downfield by the special teams unit to get to that ball in time.
Bill Lynch said Ty Johnson is one of their most talented players, and he just boomed a 72-yarder. The line drive, the luck of the roll, all help, but he got it done. And Wabash is backed up inside their 2-yard line.
And Lance Meyer, great job of hitting the brakes there. He almost went into the end zone and touched that football, so good awareness by Meyer.
And not very often does a big punt feel like changed momentum, but it does feel like it changed momentum a little bit here.
And Wabash is going to have to burn a timeout. With 11:45 to play in the 2nd quarter in the bell game, the Little Giants, the road team, have the only score of the game, 7-0. And it was a defensive score. Now as the momentum changed, DePaul has Wabash backed up. We'll find out in just a moment. Stay with us. Well, there are still some remnants of the bitter cold and the few inches of snow we had earlier this week. It's not a bad weather day considering. Around 40 degrees here in Greencastle, and a big situation coming up. Wabash up 7-0, but DePaul guys has just pinned them inside their 2-yard line.
Yeah, we were just saying not too often that a big punt seems to change momentum, but well, you can sure feel it here. This is a big possession.
1st down for the Little Giants. Liam Thompson from his end zone. He'll keep it himself, and he'll get a little bit of breathing room. Gets stacked up at the 5, maybe the 6-yard line. That was tough running right there.
But when you have a guy like Liam Thompson that gives you that ability and that weapon, that's an easy way to get out of the shadow of your own goalposts. So some breathing room now for Wabash here close to their own end zone.
Yeah, and when you have a quarterback that can run, it gives you an extra block. You can actually block all the people you need to block with the running back, or at least fake it to the running back that pulls somebody away and acts as a block.
Nico Morris, the senior left tackle from Muncie Central, is leading the way there from the 6 now. Looks left and knocked down at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, another run pass option there for Wabash. Liam deciding to throw it outside, and not much a quarterback can do there, but the lineman just want to try to get the hands down there.
Yeah, Hoffmeister, all 6'1" of them right there, the linebacker, able to knock that down. And this is a really, maybe the biggest play of the game so far for DePaul to try to make a stop and give themselves really good field position.
So 3rd and 6 coming up. From their 6-yard line. 2 to the right, 1 to the left. From the end zone. Swing pass out near the marker, and that should be enough. That's Nick Hammond who made the catch. Should have enough for the first down, and that's a huge, I know it's the 13-yard line, but just moving the change no matter what happens, that's a big swing for Wabash.
Yeah, Nick Hammond really started the year on fire this year, and then Cooper Sullivan has really come on #1. But one thing the Wabash offense has done well is spread it out to several different receivers.
Hammond did a great job that time coming out of that little route, running towards the marker. Sometimes receivers run just parallel to right into the sideline, and that gave his quarterback a chance to lead him and hit it first down.
First down, draw play. Up the middle for Avant for very little.
This is big for Wabash too, considering this is by far the noisiest end of the stadium. You got a lot of the DePaul students down there, and the stands in that end zone, the other end zone a little more open. So DePaul trying to use the crowd to their advantage here on this side of the field.
Easy to spot that's the student section, because 5 minutes before kickoff it was fairly empty. Now it's pretty full.
Right.
Sometimes 1 o'clock on a Saturday comes a little bit early for a college student. On 3rd down, rolling to his right, and he'll just have to get rid of it. Thompson had nowhere to go.
Well, there's an example of Liam Thompson not playing like a freshman. You know, he looked backside, saw the guy coming unblocked, didn't try to make a play out of it, didn't try to run, didn't try to squeeze it in. He just threw it away, and let's go back and do a 3rd and 7.
Now Brody Good, the senior captain, basically unblocked and forced Thompson to get rid of it.
So 3rd down now from their 17. One back to the left. Thompson is looking left. Now he's going to run to the right, trying to make something happen with his feet. He'll make one man miss and get stopped at the 21-yard line, about 4 yards short. So DePaul's defense does it again.
But Connor Perkins there basically playing the role of the quarterback spy, and that's exactly what he did. He was able to stay with Thompson step for step and then got some help to make the tackle. But yeah, you'll see him right here. He's just a spy on Thompson, making sure that the quarterback has nowhere to go, and he did a good job of sticking with him.
He sure did, and you know what held him up just enough where he knew the rest of the defense was coming. Both defenses really active today.
Tristan Hoffmeister's already made a couple of plays. Line drive punt will take a hop, picked up there by Valentine, and not very much room for him. Stacked up at the 38-yard line.
Well, if anything, DePaul now has at least successfully flipped the field, but it's only as good as your offense and what you can do with it. So now an opportunity for DePaul. Now, they picked up a couple of first downs in that drive that ended up in the fumble, sack, and the touchdown for Wabash. Let's see if they can get back to maybe some of those intermediate passes that they had on that drive to move the football.
Yeah, other than the one drive from DePaul that ended up in the fumble and a pick and score, neither team has really been able to mount any kind of drive at all, save maybe one first down here and there.
For DePaul in general, after flipping the field with a punt, just one first down feels like a win, so they have it not too far shy of midfield. Down 7-0, second quarter of the Monon Bell Classic. It's the quarterback, Andrews, keeping it himself for 2, maybe 3 yards.
Well, maybe that's something Bill Lynch and the Tigers start going to is Andrews with his legs a little bit and try to give some different looks to the Wabash defense. So we've seen him roll out a little bit, but he can run the football. This is a designed run and gives the Tigers a few yards on first down. But again, really maybe just opening up the playbook and the options available for an offense that's been struggling.
Yeah, and Coach Lynch, you can see from the stats every year he's been here, loves his quarterbacks to be able to run the football.
Brock Heffern with yet another tackle. 2nd and 7 coming now. Rolling to the right. Andrews puts it away. He's going to run it again and step out of bounds after positive yardage again. Maybe a couple of yards shy of the first down.
And that's just good coverage downfield. I mean, that was not a design run, a rollout, but no one for Andrews open down the field. So he made what he could on the ground with his legs, but great coverage downfield by Wabash.
Yeah, and it looked like he was waiting, I might be wrong, for Cam Haynes, number 10, who was deep there to really stop and come back. Cam running deep and then kind of stopped and turned without really moving anywhere. But, you know, that's what a running quarterback can do for you. Instead of a incomplete or -4, you get a positive yardage.
So 3rd and 2. Chase Andrews from the gun. He'll keep it himself again. And he's got the first down. Inside Little Giant territory at the 49-yard line. Andrews doing it with his legs this time.
Again, more designed runs for this mobile quarterback. Wabash now, or DePaul rather, into Wabash territory now. And a nice job patiently looking off the defender and then being able to just slip around him and get enough for the first down.
4 first downs now for the Tigers. The only score of the game came on defense for Wabash. David Marsh, a 23-yard fumble return on Seth Burrish's sack of Andrews. Fake handoff, back to pass, over the middle. Will Harris has it in daylight, makes a man miss. Inside the 30, 25, down to the 23-yard line.
Wabash bringing Brock Heffron that time up the middle to bring a 5th rusher and nothing doing. I mean, it's great protection for Chase. And out of the little bunch formation, you'll see 3 receivers really close together coming out of there, and somebody was unaccounted for.
And Andrews used every half second he had there in the pocket to his advantage to hit Harris over the middle, and a nice run after the catch for the receiver as well. And now DePaul finally something moving on offense.
Big receiver to the left is Cam Haynes. 2 backs this time. James Deaton is the up man. And it's the second man through with a little bit of room, and that's Jared Stiver with his first carry of the game, a first down inside the 10-yard line.
Somebody down for Wabash, I can't see. It might be Patrick Kelly, number 30.
I think you're right.
Stiver gives you a little bit different look there for DePaul. A lot of speed, and you saw it as he hit the hole right up the middle for a big gainer.
And DePaul has used a rotation of backs. Stiver, Liam Pooler, and Jones have all split up the carries, with Deaton getting some work as well. Meanwhile, Pat Kelly remains face down. Sophomore from Valparaiso High School, leads them with 3 interceptions. Here you're going to get a good look at it. Coming in with the shoulder tackle.
Yeah, just a big hit right there, and hopefully he'll be all right. DePaul will have, actually, 1st and goal right at the 10, so some options here based on the way you've seen Bill Lynch with open the playbook a little bit. He's had Haynes running the ball. He's incorporated some different running backs and receivers on this, so you know, really everything available here at the 10-yard line when we pick play back up.
Yeah, I mean, really some nice plays there. Really opened it up there with the run and the big pass before that. Fans, as you said, Kevin, really filled in a little right before the game, a little slow arriving both sides, but as usual, a full Monon Bell house.
I don't blame him. It's a little chilly. Wait until the last moment. Right now, though, all thoughts are with the downed Little Giant, Pat Kelly, one of their starting safeties on the field right now. And great to see that he has rolled over and is sitting up.
Yeah, it looks like he's talking to the trainers now, so just making sure they're taking their time, and now he's going to get up, so that's a great sign for Pat Kelly and Wabash.
Yeah, Pat Kelly was a corner for about the first half of the year, and that was one of the changes I mentioned. It was the second half of the Worcester game where Coach Ramsey, Wabash's defensive coordinator, says, you know, we made some changes. We really clicked and played well since that game, which was the 5th game of the year. And one of those changes was moving Pat Kelly from corner, bringing in Cam Ferguson, number 5, and moving Pat to safety and getting our other safeties up more in run support.
It's good to see Kelly walk off under his own power. I'll wait for information if it's disseminated on his status in a bit. And back at it now with DePaul on the march, trying to get on the board for the first time past the midpoint of the second quarter. The only score of the game on defense for Wabash. DePaul trying to even up the bell game. First and goal from the 10-yard line. Andrews under center will pitch it to the right side. Stiver again gets about 3 yards. Second and goal coming.
Good pursuit by the Wabash defense there to close off really any angles that Stiver might have had into the end zone.
Yeah, just stringing it out. Sometimes that's what you want to do and let the sideline be your friend. Both defenses, I commented earlier, seem to be really running the ball and are very active.
From the 7, second and goal. James Deaton, senior from Westchester, Ohio, is the up back. Jared Stiver, junior from Bishop Chatard in Indianapolis, the deep back. Stiver again, straight up the middle, diving for the goal line. It's close. Is he in? He is. Touchdown, DePaul.
That's a great effort by Stiver, running through that last tackle, reaching for the goal line, and looked like it was just able to get the ball across for the touchdown.
Yeah, it sure was. Reached for the touchdown, and all that has to happen is the ball crosses the plane of the goal line. It's a scary thing to do because you could easily fumble, but he had possession as he got across.
Great look at it there, too, as you saw that ball, across the plane.
Yeah, great camera work.
The knee goes down. The ball is right real close. Could go either way, but I don't think that'd be overturned even if you were talking about replay. So close enough. And the point after, which has been a challenge for DePaul this season, is good. Jack Brush makes the kick to tie this game at 7.
Well, we talked about, how a team responds to a big play, and you can see what DePaul did.
So we've got a new game, an offensive touchdown for the first time. DePaul and Wabash tied at 7, second quarter of the Monon Bell Classic. Well, not many rivalries have lasted longer than this one. Wabash and DePaul have played 126 times now, including today. For comparison, Purdue and Indiana in the old Oaken Bucket. That's just 122 by the time they play in a couple of weeks. It'll be the 120th Army-Navy game. Michigan-Ohio State, a paltry 116. It's not the longest. I think it's 12th in college football, but it is one of the most storied, and it looks like we're in for a good one today. 7-7. DePaul is tied up Wabash. Thanks for joining us. Kevin Lee, Brad Walker-Merca, and Steve Hoffman along with Will Hampton on the sidelines today. DePaul getting set to kick it back to Wabash after a 7-play, 62-yard drive and a 7-yard touchdown run by Jared Stiver. That is a nice kick by Jack Drake, and it is going to be a touchback.
Well, Coach Morrell loves the fair catch calls on the touchdown. He loved that new rule. He says, you know what, let's just get it and go to 25. A lot of bad things can happen when you're returning a kickoff.
Well, definitely momentum now for DePaul. And you mentioned, Steve, both defenses have played really, really well. We've seen success with Avant running the football. We've seen success on the ground with the quarterback being able to get outside the pocket a little bit. And so it'd be interesting to see what Don Morrell does. Maybe this is where we see some trickery or something a little bit different to breathe some life into his offense.
Well, we know each coach has something up their sleeves at some point.
Avant gets it on first down, looking right, tries to cut it up and in, and finds only a yard or two, swarmed over by the Tigers defensively. Nathan Seifert, one of those there. Avant has been held in check so far. He had a big bell game last year, 150 yards.
Yeah, whopping 36 carries last year in the bell game, and so he was the workhorse.
He's a 4-year regular. He's never really been the starter, though, because he split a lot of time with Ike James, who we mentioned is out again for the last 4 games with a foot injury. They thought he might be able to come back. Turns out it's a fracture, so he's unavailable at least as far as this week is concerned. Now, the playoffs are coming up, and that's a secondary part of the story as we have a third down coming up in just a moment. A big 3rd down and 6 tomorrow. The Little Giants find out where they will play. But Don Morrell was saying, nobody ever talks about the playoffs. It's all about the bell game. From the gun, Thompson back to pass on third down. Rifles one over the middle, and it was caught and dropped. In and out of the hands of Devin Anderson. Would have been enough for the first down. There was also coverage on the play, and I think somebody got a hand in on that one as well.
Yeah, Dylan Hyatt on the coverage. We'll see if he was able to get a hand in and knock it out. I think that's one more likely on the receiver. Want to know if he wishes he had back. Can't put it much better spot than that one, and now Wabash will have to punt.
Joey Ane from his 15-yard line. Valentine will try to return this one at the 35. Fakes one way, the other way, straight back. Gets about 4 yards on the return.
I tell you, all the momentum feels like it's with the men in gold and black right now, Brad.
Yeah, you know, Steve, it does. Obviously, the touchdown and then another 3-and-out right there. In pretty good field position here. You got 4 minutes left, and this is a scenario where you get one first down or something, you probably feel pretty good that you're not going to give Wabash a chance to have the ball again or have it in good territory. But if Wabash can come up with a quick 3-and-out, well, then you're looking at an opportunity before the half to get some points.
And Wabash's offense has really not done much at all today. Has not sustained any drive, with Wabash's only score, if you're just joining us, being on a 23-yard fumble return by David Marsh.
Andrews got the last drive started running it himself, and he's going to do it again here, this time in a quick 6 right up the middle. They fake the handoff on the end around to Will Harris, so a big catch on the last possession before Stiver punched it in for the touchdown, and Andrews will keep it again on the ground for positive yards.
And Andrews getting 4, 5, 6 yards a pop on these, going back to the last drive. It really opens things up for what this offense can do. I mean, you saw the completion to Harris there, the big play on the last drive. That was opened up by a play fake from Andrews. So DePaul using that to their advantage to give them more options offensively.
2nd and 4. Draw play on the gun. Jones stacked up. Lost about a yard there. They may give him back the line of scrimmage, so still 3rd and a longer 4 coming.
Jackson Garrett, great penetration right away here. Jones really had nowhere to go, and a good sure tackle too, because we've seen Jones slip a couple of these, so Garrett able to wrap up in a big play to force a 3rd down.
Yeah, Jackson, you're right, really stepping in that hole, making a play. And it's one thing to be there, it's another play to make a play in an open field with against a good running back.
Split backs for Andrews. He will roll to the right, fake once, and throws it over the middle, and it's caught for a first down and more. Gavin Ritter all the way down inside the 25-yard line.
This was a great job by the quarterback, Chase Andrews. When we see the replay here, you see him rolling out, and what he was able to do was one little pump fake that gave his receiver time to slip back behind the defense. You'll see it right there. This was intentional. This was the guy he wanted the whole time. That one pump fake gave him the opportunity to slip back behind the last level defenders and for a big reception.
30 on the pickup for the junior from Plainfield, Indiana. And for the 2nd straight possession, DePaul is marching down the field inside Little Giant territory. Tie game in the 2nd quarter. And it's a reverse coming back the other way. And Valentine isn't going anywhere. He's actually going to lose yardage. Wabash did a great job defensively.
Yeah, one of those plays, you know, when it doesn't work, Brad, you wonder, it's like, hey, we're running the ball, throwing the ball well. Why do you want to come back with the reverse? But if it works, it's a great call.
No, absolutely. And I mean, Wabash, what a great job just staying home on that one. No one was really fooled. And so now it's going to be 2nd and long for the Tigers.
Back to the 28-yard line. 2nd and 13 coming. Split backs again. Jones is to the right. Deaton is to the left. Andrews will pass. Has time, and it's a little bit underthrown. The crossing pattern. Looking again for Ritter. This time it short hops him.
I think Chase would either like to have that ball back to throw or maybe step up and run. Looked like he had an alley right up the gut.
Absolutely, Steve. I thought he was going to run with this, and I think the ball may have just slipped out of his hands a little bit. Just not a great throw. He did have room, and this is a key part of the field for DePaul. Their kicking game has really struggled when it comes to field goals, so probably 4-down territory here, barring any kind of negative play for Bill Lynch and the Tigers.
Field goals are not much of an option. 2 of 8 on the season as a team. Jack Brush hasn't tried one. Jack Drake has missed 6 of his 8. and also 12 of 15 on PATs, and in trouble and going down, and that is Seth Paresh again. He had the sack that forced the fumble that led to a touchdown, and now a big one to make a much more difficult decision for DePaul. They're in no man's land here where you might as well go for it, but it is 4th and a whole bunch.
Yeah, you're right. You're 4th and almost 20. 4th and 19, but you can't kick a field goal. I don't know if punting does anything for you.
You pick up, you're probably going to punt it in the end zone, so you're thinking, all right, you pick up 15 yards or whatever.
Well, I'm a bit surprised that Don Morell didn't call timeout earlier, and he was pointing at the clock. I don't know if he had tried to, but they just put 3 seconds back on, but a good 10-12 seconds ran off between the end of that play and before even the 58 seconds we see on the clock now. So Wabash only has 1 timeout left. You know, maybe this is a scenario where DePaul drops back in shotgun and does a little pooch punt or something like this to kill some time and try to pin to Wabash deep.
Yeah, because, you know, what do you have in your playbook? Not a whole lot of in the column of 4th and 19.
And I think that's the problem, Steve. If this is 4th and 4, 4th and 5, you know, you run a normal play, and if you don't get it, you don't get it. But this is a hard one to pick up. You got the clock will stop on a first down in college football, but only 1 timeout for Wabash. But still, if they can hold DePaul here, you know, you're a first down or 2 away from maybe a long field goal or a realistic shot to throw it into the end zone.
Right. What you don't want is an incomplete pass, like you said, and give Wabash the ball here with about 50 seconds to go. And Skylar Nairg with a strong leg, I think he can go up to you know, maybe 52, 53 on a good day. Now we got some wind breeze going today, but.
Now keep in mind, short of the first down, the clock is stopping no matter what.
Yeah.
So they will punt it, but the clock will stop. You'll pick up a little extra time, though, if you can just roll a punt. So the idea here for DePaul and Ty Johnson is let's keep this one in play, and that seems perfect to me. A high bouncing punt, stays in bounds for a moment, rolls out of bounds. You got 2 or 3 more ticks off the clock, but more importantly, you got him starting at the 13 instead of the 20, or worst case scenario, way back at the 35 or whatever.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for much better there, but let's just go back a couple plays. That's a huge stop for the Wabash defense. DePaul, with all the momentum in this football game right now, was moving the ball for what looked like probably an easy opportunity, at least 3 points, if not more, and then 2 negative plays. And you know, we may not see Wabash do much offensively here, but they have to feel happy, Steve, with the way that defense performed in that last series.
Well, yeah, it needed to stop because it felt like we were on our heels. Wabash's defense, I should say, was on our heels a little bit, trying to stop this DePaul offense.
So with 49 seconds and a timeout, they'll keep it on the ground on first down.
The interesting thing here, and it doesn't look like he's going to do it, you know, Bill Lynch has all 3 timeouts. And, you know, maybe with a better field goal kicking game, you think about that, but he's going to let this one run down.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised he didn't use it because, you know, Wabash, even if they get a first down, is going to have to go still another 80 yards. And you never know what happens on the punt, right, with a bad snap or snap.
Sure.
I would have thought we might have seen one there on the first play, a timeout, and kind of see what Wabash does on second down.
So Wabash is content to go in to the half tied. On the ground again, Avant, a yard or 2. And that's going to end the first half.
And DePaul will get the ball coming out, so maybe another factor there for Bill Lynch. So let's get in the locker room, start planning for that next possession to start the third quarter.
So halfway in to the 126th meeting between Wabash and DePaul, we are where we started. 7 apiece. DePaul has the only offensive score of this game. A 7-yard run by Jared Stiver, and Wabash scored on defense. Seth Paresh had the sack, David Marsh, the fumble return for a touchdown. It is 7 apiece. Let's go to the sideline and check in with Will Hampton.
Well, Bill Lynch feeling pretty good right now. You think about offense, defense, special teams. Is this pretty much following your blueprint like you drew it up?
Yeah, we're playing pretty well, other than the turnover with a strip sack and a score. But, you know, I think our defense is really playing well. In the second quarter, we got some things going offensively, but they're a good football team, so we got to get ourselves ready for a second half.
Seems like your guys up front, really on both sides of the ball, you know, so many games are won in the trenches, and right now you're winning up front both sides.
Seems like they're playing hard, and but it's it's a tight game, and I like where we're at right now, especially after spotting them 7 on that fumble. But this game, a lot of crazy things happens in this game, so we just got to get ready to come out and play.
Final question. A lot of emotion. Your guys seem to really have a lot of adrenaline. They're really firing off that. How do you keep that going through halftime?
I don't think that's going to be a problem with this group.
Not at all.
No.
All right. That's Bill Lynch, his team, and Wabash all tied up right now at 7 apiece.
Well, Will, from a neutral observer's standpoint, it's all you can ask for. The Monon Bell Classic is tight. We go into the second half tied. It is break time in Greencastle at Nick Morose's field for Blackstock Stadium. Stay with us, plenty more to come in the Monon Bell Classic. Halftime at Nick Morose's field at Blackstock Stadium in Greencastle, just west of Indianapolis. Wabash and DePaul separated by about 30 miles and separated by nothing on the scoreboard. Halftime of the Monon Bell Classic, it's Wabash 7, DePaul 7. First half highlights, it started for Wabash, getting it done, Steve, on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, not much going on either side for either offense, but at this point you see the defense for Wabash playing really well, and you're going to see the big play coming up right here with the big strip by Malcolm Lang. David Marsh picks it up and runs 23 yards for the first score of the football game.
Yeah, and then DePaul on offense finally getting something going. You see the big pass play here from Andrews to Will Harris, was able to make a few men miss, and DePaul then able to capitalize from 7 yards out. Jared Stiver, the diver, diving into the end zone for the touchdown that gave DePaul their first score of the game, and we're all tied up.
Less than 200 yards of total offense as we look at the stats. Anything jump out at us here?
Well, the total yards for both sides jumps out at me. I mean, 63 yards for this Wabash offense and a half. The DePaul defense playing phenomenal. So you think, oh, let's go to the other side. Only 118 for DePaul.
Yeah, I think Bill Lynch should be happy about 2 things. 1 of 6 for Wabash on third down. His defense has really stepped up there. And the time of possession, Bill knew that they had to possess the football.
So it's been a nice day and tremendous football so far, especially on the defensive side. Kevin Lee, Steve Hoffman, Brad Walker-Merca. So let's go from the Wabash side of things. How are the Little Giants feeling about their situation at the half?
I think they're probably getting an earful inside because some things are not happening on offense because the Wabash offense hasn't been able to go anywhere. Give credit to the DePaul defense, but there must be some missed assignments and some other things going on. But on the defensive side of the ball, everything's fine. Just keep playing our game.
Steve's a former Wabash quarterback. Brad's a former DePaul wide receiver. Tied at 7 against a team that's already at least clinched a tie of the conference championship going to the playoffs. How's Bill Lynch at right now?
Well, I think he feels great. I mean, this is it for this DePaul team, right? And they're kind of playing like it. Season's over, win or lose this afternoon. You know, Wabash does have that playoff game still, but DePaul's going to have the football coming out in the second half. Their offense has gotten better sort of each series throughout the first half. Interesting to see if they can capitalize on the momentum that they had. And the Wabash defense, you know, outside of that one long drive, has played pretty well, Steve. So big series, I think, to start the third quarter.
That's what we always say. It doesn't matter what the records are, who's had the better season. It's really just kind of a toss-up when you get into the bell game. As far as some individual leaders, the freshman quarterback statistically has struggled so far for Wabash.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that, and, you know, he's playing like a freshman. He hasn't played like a freshman really all year, though, Steve. But, you know, hey, first half, first Monon Bell game under his belt now. You know, maybe some big things here in half number 2.
But, again, let me go to the DePaul defense. He really hasn't had a lot of places to throw the ball that we've seen. And when he's tried to run, they've been bottling him up. But 22 yards for a half for throwing the ball for Liam Thompson. Probably the first time in his life that's happened.
The Tigers quarterback Chase Andrews has been very solid so far. Stiver has the only offensive touchdown of the game. Wabash's score came on defense. David Marsh's 23-yard fumble return for a touchdown. Second half coming up in just a moment. Stay with us for the Monon Bell Classic. Halftime in Greencastle, DePaul and Wabash tied at 7 in the Monon Bell Classic. Down to the field level with Will Hampton.
They call it the Monon Bell Classic, and this is a classic, I guess, so far, all tied up 7-7. Coach, what was your message at halftime?
Well, we need to be way more consistent on offense. We had a critical penalty. We let a ball bounce to the 1-yard line, and we gave up a sack that we shouldn't have. So we've got to play better for sure offensively, but this is what the Bell game's like every year. It's tough, and somebody has got to make a big play in the second half to win this football game.
You were saying earlier in the week that you were concerned about some of the things that they might do defensively, different looks, different sets. Did you see some of that surprised you a little?
Much more pressure, second down pressure, 2nd and 8, 2nd and 7, a ton of pressure, and that's unusual for them to do.
All right, well, thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you.
Don Morrell, head coach of Wabash. We're back upstairs to you guys.
All right, thank you, Will. And we should mention next year for the 127th Monon Bell Classic, Steve, it'll be at a new venue in Crawfordsville. It wasn't that long ago it was announced that the Little Giants are going to have a new stadium.
It was actually announced in August. Little Giant Stadium that has been there since 1966, so 54 seasons in that stadium. We'll have a new Little Giant Stadium in the same location. That is planning to be done by the first home opener next year, September 5th against Rose-Hulman.
And Brad, they've been playing here at Blackstock Stadium. First of all, they've been playing on this location since 1921, but in this stadium with some upgrades over the years since 1941.
If it ain't broke, don't tear it down and replace it, right?
I love it. I love it.
It is really neat, though. Both these schools, these fields that have been here forever, great settings, very traditional. You come back as alumni, and hey, that's where I played. That's where my memories were. It's really neat to kind of have that, and that's not something that you always see. And these are two great venues.
You know, and that stat there on the home team's record, +1 over 500, goes along with, I remember talking with Bill Lynch about this last year. Home field advantage matters less in this matchup than it does in others. We're talking 30 miles apart. Everybody travels their fans. I'm not sure that the home field advantage is that much of an advantage.
No, I don't think so. It's just different because there's so many more fans here at this game, and a lot of these people know each other, right? These are kids and families that know each other from the same towns, the same high schools. So you're talking about playing in front of fans that might be wearing the other color, but they may have been your hometown fans just 2 or 3 years ago in high school.
The Monon Railroad, by the way, connected these towns, Greencastle and Crawfordsville, about 30 miles apart from 1847 through 1970. And the Monon Bell was donated in 1932 as a trophy for these programs. You can hear it all day long in the background. Will it go back to Crawfordsville, or will it stay in Greencastle? Well, they made the trip today. And every once in a while, the student bodies get together to try to swipe it. So you can win it outright on the football field, or you can do some shenanigans to try to get it for a little while until you get caught.
Well, one of the things that Will mentioned earlier about a bipartisan attempt at a steal was because some Wabash students came down. One was in an Obama mask and one was in a Trump mask to try to steal the bell. Didn't go as planned. It didn't quite work out for the Wabash faithful.
Well, and by the way, Skylar Narig, who is kicking off right now, was one of those students. He was a player. Normally attempted theft is really frowned upon, but it's taken in a different light here in the circumstances. In the end zone, it's a touchback, so from the 25-yard line is where DePaul will get it to start the second half. And all right, here we go, and tied up at 7.
And last year, one of the things, going back to that attempted theft, Skylar Narig had to do as a consequence to trying to steal the bell was he had to stay and clean up the stadium in the stands afterwards. So it was Skylar in his football uniform and several of his Wabash friends and acquaintances helping him clean up the stands.
They got a break, though, because a lot of the fans helped out, right?
Yeah,
It wasn't just
absolutely.
he and his co-conspirators.
No.
Chase Andrews had a really good first half. 8 of 10, did some things on the ground as well, and he's going to fake a pass and keep it himself on the first play of the second half. 3 yards up the middle.
And that really was, I think, the difference. It started setting up the DePaul offense to have more flexibility. It was Andrews with these keepers and running the football, so no surprise to see Bill Lynch come out of the gates with that in the third quarter.
And how about this game, you guys? It's a Monon Bell game, 7-7 at halftime. On neither team more than 118 yards offense in the entire half. It's just kind of the way the Monon Bell kind of should be sometimes.
Wabash is used to scoring 30-plus points a game, so does that favor DePaul? I think this is more of the game that they're looking for. Handoff up the middle on second down, and Noah Jones will get it out past the 30-yard line. Third down and about 4 coming.
Well, Bill Lynch is a very good coach, and will always have something up his sleeve, as will Coach Morrell. Coach Lynch and I actually go back a long ways to when I was in high school, and he was my coach at a passing clinic, and he recruited me to go to Butler, which I didn't do, so I guess.
Yeah. We won't hold it against you, right? It'll be okay.
No.
Yeah.
2 to the right, 2 to the left on third down and 4. First possession of the second half. Andrews back to pass, hoists it over the middle, or towards, I should say, the left sideline. And that's Ritter again, who's come up with a couple of big catches in this game, out near midfield and a DePaul first down.
Well, that's big for DePaul to be able to convert on kind of a third and medium right there with Ritter, who caught another long pass earlier in the first half. So DePaul slowly starting to stretch the field at opportune times, and a big first down there to get it near midfield.
Yeah, nice throw. You can see right in there in the window where it needed to be. And like you said, Brad, neither team wants to be in a third and long this year, or in this game, but DePaul was there and got out of it.
Do they ring the bell louder in the second half? It sounds that way.
It does sound like it.
They ring it with more force and vigor because it's getting closer to winning time. On first down, Jones on the draw, has a little bit of daylight and a quick 6 yards inside Wabash territory to the 45.
Yeah, that's a nice pickup on first down. That's something that DePaul has kind of struggled to really get, more than 4 yards on first down. So Jones able to turn the corner there. And you're right, Kevin, this is an intense atmosphere here in the second half. One of the things you worry about is one team jumps out to a big lead. Those students we talk about, well, it's time to head back to the dorm, head back to the fraternity houses. But it almost feels like a rowdier crowd here to start the third quarter.
Yeah, and it starts to warm up a little bit. We're up to 45 degrees now. And those in the sunshine, it's actually a pretty comfortable day.
Those other people
just up
in the
top
sunshine,
in the open air press box with the wind, it seems a little bit cooler. But the
like
football is entertaining us.
At least the wind's in our face.
That's great, yeah. Really appreciate
Split back,
it. Yeah.
second down, and penalty. Took too long.
Number 11, 5-yard
Bill
penalty.
Lynch really upset, knocking his hat off. Not happy there after that nice gain on first down. We talked about DePaul hasn't had many large gains on first down, so that sets him right back.
Yeah, you talk about an unforced error, delay of game when you had plenty of time.
So now back to a 2nd and 9. Just barely inside Wabash territory. The only offensive points of the game have come from DePaul. Wabash got on the board with the defensive score. Fake handoff, and then it is handed off to Jones up the middle, and they go back right just where they were. Maybe an extra yard or so, so about a 3rd and 3 coming.
Well, it's just really tough sledding for both teams. Every yard, Brad, as we watch this, is just really tough to get.
Yeah, so I think this is where Andrews, having success running the ball, should come into play. He's an option on that design quarterback draw. Maybe get him outside the pocket and roll out. He's had some success hitting receivers there. Or, Jones, a couple of nice runs in a row here. Maybe you just pound it up the middle with him. And then you get another scenario if you get within a yard, is it 4-down territory?
Ritter is wide to the left. It's Harris in motion, and he will get it on the end around. Looks in, cuts out. He's got the first down, I think. Where did he step out of bounds? Oh, it's going to be very close. The 41-yard line. It's right at the marker.
I think they're going to give it to him by about a half yard, but he stepped out. He did not intend to stand out that quick. Right on the 41.
I think they might measure. Yeah, they're going to call the chains over.
That's surprising. Usually on these fields, with all these turf fields now, if somebody gets to a yard line where they know they need to get there to the yard line, it's a first down. But they're going to bring it all the way across the...
I think Bill Lynch may be saying something similar, Steve. He's
not
not thrilled with the officials here.
He moved his hat around about 3 times on his head.
Yeah, he's hands on hips, not too pleased about this measurement.
Hey, we got to give these chain guys some airtime.
Yeah, that's right.
But they're thinking, well, wait a minute, why can't we do the measurement when it's near us on that side of the field? You're right, it is a lot easier to tell, and it is a first down than it used to be with the turf field, because the individual yard markers usually are obliterated by this time of the game. Where did he step out? That's going to be tough to tell from that angle. This will give us a look right there.
Seems right on the 41.
Yep.
Where they
That's a good
It's a good spot.
Sure. These turf fields, though, are so much nicer. I mean, I remember playing here. Wasn't this just, you know, by the end of the game, it's by the end of the season, because you're practicing a little bit on this field
Sure.
at times. You're tearing it up, and it's hard, it's cold, it's muddy.
Yeah.
This is a much nicer way to play football in November.
Well,
Yeah, you know, fields don't become part of the game like they used to. You know, muddy game actually changed what you call an offense. You don't see that these days.
So the trend has become DePaul has been able to move the ball. They're inside Wabash territory yet again. Tied here in the third quarter. Andrews chased, throws, and it's way out of bounds. Incomplete, just had to get rid of that one. Ritter over there, the intended receiver.
There was two receivers there on the far side of the field, and great coverage by Wabash on both of them. And Andrews did a good job. It looked for a minute like he might try to extend that play, but thought, nope, just time to throw it away. So a nice decision there by the junior.
Well, you're right, Kevin. You said the trend seems to be as DePaul's moving the football, and the last several times they've had the ball, it feels like they have been moving the chains, something that the players in white have not been able to do today.
They did on their first possession a little bit, but not so much since then. Jones on second down gets a yard or so up to the 40. Now a big third down coming up both ways. Wabash wants to stop that momentum. They can still get a stop way out of field goal range and get the ball back.
Yeah, just nowhere to run. Wabash stuffing that hole with a couple of defenders along the defensive line. And we haven't seen DePaul in many third and longs. So it'll be interesting to see what Bill Lynch tries to dial up here.
He's brought in an extra wide receiver, Chris Valentine, we've seen as a punt returner. One of three to the right. There's one to the left. One back with Chase Andrews. 3rd and 9. He's going to dump it off to Noah Jones. His back, and that's a great tackle from behind to stop some extra running room. Brock Heffern is there to keep DePaul from getting an opportunity at a first down, because I think he was going to be close if he doesn't get him.
That was the perfect play call, and it could only be beat by one thing, and it was that. Brock Heffern with an amazing individual effort to track Jones down right there, because DePaul read the blitz and the pressure, the man pressure, and was able to get that screen set up nicely, but a great individual effort.
Yeah, and you could see from the other angle, Brock seeing that pretty early and taking off almost before the ball was thrown and see what was happening, but big play.
Ty Johnson from just inside his own territory. Set the punt to the freshman Cooper Sullivan, and that's almost blocked. That is a high hanging punt. Sullivan will try a fair catch at the goal line, and he lost it. He collided as well with a defender, so the flag comes down. He was drifting.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a no-no from DePaul. I mean, Sullivan's still there trying to catch the ball. He signals for the fair catch. The tough thing there is you don't always expect a guy to catch the ball at his 1 yard line.
Exactly.
When you said that's a no-no, I didn't know which team you were going
both.
for.
No, it was both.
It's really, don't fair catch it on a 1, and then don't.
Catch the ball.
Yeah, kick catch interference. That's going to be 15 yards, either re-kick after 15 yards, which I wouldn't be surprised if Wabash does, or just take the 15 from there.
And the wind is blowing that direction as well, so I think the wind took the ball a little bit. The DePaul player on punt coverage, I think he's probably think at that point, he's not going to fair catch this. The ball's going into the end zone. So he was just in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
To make a fair catch. Kicking team number 24, 15 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
So Liam Pooler is the DePaul defender whistle. Let's watch this again, and how close was it? Nearly blocked. Pretty close. He did have his eyes on the ball. So what I think he's thinking at this point, Pooler, is there's no way he's going to try to catch this. I'm going to try to catch it and pin him down at the 3 or 4 yard line.
I don't think he even saw Sullivan. I think he was just watching the ball and trying to.
No, I think you're right. Yeah, Pooler just trying to down it.
So that gets Wabash out of their doorstep just a little bit, but still not very good field position, starting from their own 18. Tie game, their first possession of the second half. Thompson is going to wing it for a first down all the way across the field back to the right side for Sullivan.
Well, what you can see that we haven't been able to showcase today, you can see freshman Liam Thompson's arm strength there. That's a long ways to throw the ball from one hash all the way across the field, and threw it on a line.
And against a little bit of a breeze, too. It's crosswind. That's a nice big arm. And just like that, Wabash is moving from their 37. Draw play. Up the middle for an extra 4 or 5 yards after first contact is Isaac Avant. Avant 10 for 40 in the first half.
Yeah, not a lot of running room. You know, early when DePaul kicked to Wabash to start the game, a couple big runs by Wabash. And Brad, you mentioned, you said, boy, the big guys from Wabash are really making it tough. And ever since then, really nothing going.
From their 41, second down and 6. Fake handoff, Sullivan in the flat, makes a man miss. He's got a first down at midfield, cuts across, still going, and inside the paw territory down to the 45-yard line.
Well, I think one thing we're seeing here is quick passes like that. You know, Don Morrell was telling Will Hampton at halftime, DePaul brought a lot more pressure than they expected, and that really seemed to rattle Thompson in the first half. So we may see more of these quick passes here in the second half.
Yeah, and like we said, both these coaches are very good coaches. We know they'd be coming up with some adjustments at halftime.
Don Morrell and the Little Giants have come out firing here in the second half, and now going up top, and it is way overthrown, but there's a flag down. Sullivan was the intended receiver. On coverage, Dylan Hyatt had the best chance at the ball, but what is the flag?
It's interesting because Sullivan seemed to give up on the route. I don't know if he was interfered with maybe prior or with
I think he got either holding or defensive pass interference, depending if the ball's in the air, but he got held. But
pass interference, defense, number 30. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
Wouldn't really recommend that you stop your route when that happens.
Yeah.
I think it happened before that.
Yeah, it must have.
A little bit of a push there, you could see.
But not a lot.
That's a bad call. Yeah, I mean, he basically given up on the route.
The former Tiger is allowed to say that. That's Brad Walker-Merker. And here is another reverse, and it's Sullivan again getting 5 or 6 yards. Stays in bounds to the 24, so Wabash continues to move the football here in the second half. The best possession they've really had in the game. Remember, their only score is a defensive score.
Yeah, no question, the best possession because the only best other drive I think we may have gotten 2 first downs out of, but this drive starting on our own 17-yard line.
So now at the Tigers' 24-yard line, nearing the midpoint of the third quarter in a tied Monon Bell Classic. Martinez, the tight end, is in motion. The quarterback, Thompson, is going to keep him. He'll maybe get back to the line of scrimmage or find a yard before he's pushed out of bounds.
That's the one thing we haven't seen as much this afternoon from Thompson is designed runs, so maybe something to look forward to more here in the second half. But a big 3rd and 4 coming up here for Wabash.
And Thompson has surprised even the Wabash coaches with how good he has been running the ball this year. Knew coming in and recruiting him that he could throw the football, but really has surprised us with how he can run. Nothing going there. There were about 3 unblocked players in pursuit with him.
So it's 3rd and 4 from the DePaul 24. Thompson looks to keep it again. He will, and he is going to be close to the marker. Pushed out at about the 21-yard line. Where will the spot be? He needs between the 20 and the 21. It's right on the 21. I think that's going to be a little bit short.
Yeah, it's going to be 4th down.
Yeah, and I think that the play call was such that we probably figured we would be 4 down territory.
Absolutely.
Even though we do have a kicker. There is a strong breeze we haven't talked about today, but it's a sideways breeze. But it could affect kickers.
Yeah, not a really good option here. Narig has hit a 44-yarder, and he's 8 of 13 on the season, but much better odds. 4th and less than a yard. Thompson, the freshman, keeps it himself. He's got the first down and a few more down to the 15.
Just a great push by the right side of the Wabash line, and Thompson almost breaking that one all the way. So DePaul fortunate to get him down, but a nice game. That's 3 carries in a row for Thompson, so something we may see a lot more of here.
He runs hard.
He does. He hit that in a hurry. And Coach Morrell said, you know, one thing he wanted to do is fix some things in offense and get this offensive going. So whatever he decided to fix, it seems fixed this drive.
Now, also fair to say he went down hard. That was a big stand-up tackle by Will Behrens, who, Steve, you told me his dad played at Wabash.
Jeff Behrens, class of 1993 at Wabash College, defensive tackle.
First down, up the middle, Avant trying to cut outside, and he swarmed right there, not finding anything, and that is Kayvon Rahimi stopping him.
A good response from the DePaul defense. You know, they've had a few plays in a row where they haven't been able to do much, including that penalty, so some momentum there for the Tigers D.
Lost a yard.
Yeah, and I don't think it was designed to bounce out there, but he had nowhere else to go. I think he wanted to cut up in behind big number 69, Connor Phelps, but nothing doing there.
And that's where the Little Giants have had a lot of success, just running right up the middle.
2nd and 11, trips to the left, including the tight end Martinez, but Thompson is going to run it to the right, try to cut in, nothing again. Maybe a yard. The DePaul defense has been swarming here. Joe Zanca leading the way.
Again, if DePaul can stretch these plays out left and right, it seems to favor the Tigers defense, and a great job by 3 Tigers in on that tackle.
So 3rd and 10 coming.
And this, Steve, I would think would be pretty comfortable in Naring's range at this point.
Oh, I think so. You know, you don't want to do anything silly here. You don't want to necessarily have to throw it into the end zone. You know, maybe even a simple pass with a screen type play, or maybe even a running play.
3 to the left, 1 to the right. Thompson fakes the pass, keeps it himself. He will go the safer route and try to make it either a more manageable 4th down or a shorter kick. He gets to the 10. Here comes the kicking unit. It is 4th and about 5 from the 10. That's what we're looking at. The 27-yard field goal here. 28. And it's Skylar Naring, senior from Warren Central in Indianapolis. 8 of 13 on the season from the right hash. Snap down. Kick is up, and kick is good. And Wabash on a 28-yard field goal from Skylar Naring has taken a 10-7 3rd quarter lead on DePaul.
Yeah, what a big drive. And let's keep in mind, Wabash started after that kick-catch interference.
Naring got it done. Wabash is back in front. Stay with us. 3rd quarter action in the Monon Bell Classic. A pair of small liberal arts private colleges west of Indianapolis have formed one of the great rivalries in college football since 1890. Wabash and DePaul have matched up since 1932. It's for the Monon Bell. Thanks for joining us today from Greencastle, Indiana, on the campus of DePaul for the Monon Bell Classic. Steve Hoffman, Brad Walker-Merca, Will Hampton. I'm Kevin Lee. It's 10-7. Wabash now in front. Officially a 27-yard field goal by Skylar Naring has put the Little Giants in front here at DePaul.
And to give you a sense of this, that last drive, Wabash had 63 yards in the entire first half. That drive alone surpassed that amount.
And DePaul moved the ball a little bit on their first possession here of the second half, so the offensive may be heating up just a little bit. This kick is going to go out of bounds.
Well, that's a big break for the Tigers. I mean, that'll give them great field position to start, and just not something you would expect to see out of Naring, the senior place kicker.
I haven't understood it. I mean, if it's 53 1/3 yards wide is a football field.
I know you want to try to use the sideline as a defender.
You do try to kick to the corner.
You want to kick it to the corner, but yeah, I'm with you too.
Yeah.
5-yard line, 1st down.
I'm going to use all 53 and keep it in the middle.
It's not wide enough for any of my drives, golf, but it should be wide enough for a kick.
Steve, you should play with me. You'll feel a lot better.
Feels great.
So from the 35, now DePaul is going to re-huddle again, so the play clock might become a bit of an issue. They will get set with about 10 on the play clock. Their second drive here of the second half, now trailing 10-7. And Andrews is going to fake the handoff to Deaton and keep it himself and squirt forward for about 4 yards.
Yeah, really more of the same. I mean, since about early in the second quarter, we've seen Andrews at least a couple of times on each drive with a keeper or some kind of design run. An equipment issue for the DePaul quarterback, getting rid of the hand warmer. If he wants to throw it up here, I'll take it. Great.
I hate to say it, fellas, but I think we're pretty soft.
Yeah, well, We used to play football. We used to.
We used to be tougher.
Yeah.
Second down and 7. Fake handoff. Andrews back to pass. Now has to roll to his right. Still looking. Will throw one up towards the sideline. Almost caught. I'm not sure he would have been in bounds. Anyway, it is incomplete. Ethan Hudson tried to toe tap the sideline. Couldn't do it.
Well, I thought he was just throwing that away, Brad, and then almost got a catch out of it.
Yeah, I thought so as well. And that was a tough kind of high wobbly throw. You almost wonder if he would have been better off just trying to scamper for 3 or 4 yards and make it third and short.
Yeah, big block there by Noah Jones, you could see.
How close did he come?
Pretty close.
That would have been close. I think he maybe just kind of lost contact with the ground at the point of reception. Couldn't hang on to it. It's a second down, and Andrews going the other way now, and this is caught by Josh Major, and that's a first down. So both quarterbacks have gone back the other way, showing some arm strength. And the sophomore from Columbus, Indiana, gets his 10th catch of the season.
Yeah, you're not kidding about that arm strength from one hash to the other, and hit him right on the run. That's a nice throw.
Yeah, that was a really, really nice play when DePaul needed it, too. 3rd and long. We haven't seen many conversions for either team under that scenario, and a great grab by Major. Nice throw from Andrews.
From their 47. Trailing by 3, Harris comes in motion. They will give it to him again on the end around. He'll cut up, this time find some positive yards. 6, maybe 7 yards inside Little Giant territory to the 46-yard line.
And that's what you want to do. You know, don't keep stretching the field just to get that extra yard or two. Just get upfield, see what you can get. And he did a nice job of cutting that up and was able to get 7 yards on first down.
Yeah, first down yardage we've talked about all day. Both coaches talked about how big that is to get yourself in some manageable situations.
2nd and 3 now. Andrews continues to work from the gun. Harris again in motion. Fake handoff to him. Andrews keeps it himself. Tries to cut it outside. Not finding anything. And Brandon Peck was there to make sure he did not.
Peck read that beautifully. You know, they brought Harris across the field again, faked the sweep, and were able to, you know, Peck was in there and able to stop Andrews. So now another critical 3rd down for DePaul. Feels like, too, guys, this is sort of where, you know, DePaul's been able to get a first down or two, and then something like this just stalls out. And they've had trouble maintaining consistent drives. So I think this would be a key conversion if they can pick it up.
3rd and 3 from the Wabash 46-yard line. Still 3rd quarter. DePaul trailing by 3. And Andrews is back to pass. Throws it over the middle to Harris. Did he catch it? Yes, he did. And he is plenty of room inside the marker for a first down this time.
They've had some pretty good luck with that bunch formation with the 3 receivers together out here and getting some people open.
Yeah, and you mentioned it earlier, Steve. I think it was Don Morell that told us this week that Will Harris is just that great hands possession receiver, and we see it again. Another catch for Harris to move the chains for the Tigers.
And he got past the chains, Brad.
This time he did.
To him at halftime. Of course, it was 3rd and 4.
Yeah.
So now at the 38 of Wabash territory, Jones again with very little room, a yard or 2. Seth Baresh, who's got a couple of sacks already, has that tackle. He's had a big day for the Little Giants defensively.
Yeah, Seth has been one of these guys this year. All of a sudden he's getting all these sacks, and you know he's been playing. But next thing you know, if there's a sack, it's been usually Seth this year.
How many more Bareshes are there? What is he, like the 9th?
No, this is it.
Okay,
He is
what a football family.
At least for a while.
Yeah.
Back to pass. To the right side, deep makes the catch and then lost it. No, incomplete. Didn't have it long enough. Incomplete.
But interesting you mentioned that he is the 5th burst to play at Wabash, and all have been very good players.
Yeah, really. I can't tell the DePaul guy that. They've all been really.
Yeah, I bet. It probably seems like it's been
some
there
nightmares?
for a dozen years for DePaul folks.
Probably worked out better for DePaul that pass was not caught by Beaton.
So we're looking at a 3rd and 10 coming up. So another big play for both teams here. DePaul has moved the ball well, but Wabash can still get their mission accomplished at this point. Could be 4 down territory. from where they're at, and here comes the rush. Andrews steps up over the middle, caught by Harris for the first down. Andrews steps up, calmly throws a strike right over the middle, and the senior Will Harris makes the catch at the 25-yard line for a DePaul first down.
Here he is again, Mr. Reliable on third down, great hands. Again, the route perfectly run, just past the sticks. Made a nice play, and good job by Andrews to avoid. Look at that pressure right there. Great throw and catch for a big first down.
What it looked like, I think it was David Marsh coming up the middle. It was unblocked.
Absolutely.
He just stepped to the side and got away from him.
And time will expire in the third quarter, so we'll swap ends and play for 15 minutes. 3 points separating Wabash and DePaul. The Little Giants are in front on the road. Stay with us from Greencastle on Fox Sports Indiana.
Welcome back. DePaul is driving here at Blackstock Stadium, trailing 10-7. The last time DePaul won this game was 2016, and the heroes were the Hunt brothers. Matt Hunt, the quarterback, to his brother Andy Hunt with 40 seconds to play. You guys won that game. Matt's here with us now. What are you thinking right now?
Hey, we're driving now. We got to get a touchdown. Down 3 points. We got to get some points on the board. I think we got a shot here.
What are you doing these days?
I'm working in Indianapolis for a commercial real estate company, Kite Realty Group, so enjoying life.
Matt Hunt to his brother Andy Hunt. That was a pretty memorable day back in 2016, wasn't it?
Yes, it was awesome. You know, looking back at it right now, you really realize how special it is. But at the moment, you know, you kind of, as a young sophomore, you don't realize how big it was until you're looking back now. So it's obviously a special moment for both of us, and remember it for the rest of our lives.
We'll see what happens. Guys, back to you. That's a pretty special memory.
Oh, what a game that was in 16, 37-34, back and forth. And here's Noah Jones getting around the right side for big yardage and a first down for the Tigers, down near the 10-yard line.
Boy, that was blocked up so nicely, Brad. I mean, you saw the receiver come down and get the block, and then the other blocker kicking out.
Yeah, that's a big run. Haven't seen a ton of those from the Tigers, and you know, you see the kickouts and the seals there. Nice job by Jones then to cut it up. And just back to the Hunt brothers real quick. I mean, what an amazing memory that was. I mean, that snapped a long losing streak in this game for DePaul. You know, and not many of the games were close either. And that was a classic a few years ago in Crawfordsville.
And Andy had a big game last year, and I think he led them in receptions the last 4 years. To this year, DePaul with a chance to go in front to the end zone. Hudson off his left hand. Incomplete.
And Hudson, speaking of Andy Hunt, you know, Don Morello earlier this week called Hudson kind of the new Andy Hunt. Said he's a big play guy for DePaul. Hasn't been involved too much here, but you can see that he has that potential as they try to throw it to him in the end zone and just out of his reach.
And Andrews throwing it right where it needed to be. He wasn't going to get intercepted.
Hudson is their leading receiver this year, 32 catches coming in. Chase Andrews, 13 of 19 for 135 on the day. Will Harris has 7 catches for 70 yards.
Guys, the other thing that's good to see, and I just picked up on it, was number 30, Pat Kelly, back in the game after that injury in the first half.
It is great to see. Cam Haynes is in the game as one of the big wide receivers to the left. It's a handoff instead to the left side, and it's Jones getting a yard or two to the 11. Third down coming. They need the 3. So 3rd and 8.
Now, we mentioned earlier that the kicking game was for DePaul. And, you know, when you see Jones start running back there, every yard is precious right here. So a nice job of cutting it back up to get a couple. But this is a really, really big play. I mean, if you're DePaul, you really want nothing but 7 here.
They have only 2 field goals on the season. So it could be 2-play situation here on 3rd and 8. Harris is back in the game. He's in the slot to the left, one of 4 receivers. Jones to the left of Andrews. Back to pass to the end zone and a cross up. Harris got crossed up or tangled up. It's incomplete, and it's 4th down. And the kicking unit is coming on.
I think Harris wanted a flag. I think he was more upset about the defensive coverage. Not going to get one there. It looked like, you know, that ball was well overthrown based on the route that he ran, and now a huge opportunity for DePaul to tie it up.
It's going to be Jack Brush, who has not tried a field goal this season, but is 7 of 9 on PATs, including 1 today. This will be a 28-yard attempt to try to tie the game. Snap down, kick up, it looks perfect, is it? It is good. And we are tied in the Monon Bell Classic early in the fourth quarter. First field goal of his collegiate career for Jack Brush. And it comes in the biggest moment in the Monon Bell Classic. And we are still even in Greencastle. Back in Greencastle, the campus of DePaul University at Blackstock Stadium. Fourth quarter, Monon Bell Classic. It is even at 10 apiece, all you can ask for. Thanks for joining us today on Fox Sports Indiana. Kevin Lee, Steve Hoffman, Brad Walkamerka, Will Hampton, and a 28-yard field goal by Jack Brush has tied the game at 10. Big in any circumstance, but big because this young man did not have a collegiate field goal, and he split the uprights.
Yeah, and you know, keep that in mind. That could play dividends here later in the game. Now he's got experience. He's got a feel. That one looked good. It had, you know, plenty of distance on it too. So, you know, we might not have seen the last of Brush or Naring for Wabash. I mean, this game certainly could end up on the foot of one of those two place kickers.
Yeah, we said before the game that it was going to be a close game. That's what we were looking at. We're knotted up at 10 early in the fourth quarter, but you're right, it could come down to one of those guys' legs.
They have struggled kicking the ball this year. Brush and Drake, they were replacing a really good one. Jake Tanner was one of the best in the nation. It's been a work in progress, and that progress is moving along nicely today. Avant will use the fair catch for Wabash, and the Little Giants will start at the 25 again with 13:28 to go, even at 10. Now Wabash does now have points on the board for their offense. Previously it had just been a defensive score. They let a field goal drive now. What can they do here?
Yeah, and it was an impressive drive for Wabash to go down the field to get that field goal after doing nothing really all game. 63 yards in that first half, which we keep talking about. So we'll see what happens here, see if they can follow up that 70-yard drive with another big one.
Leon Thompson, the freshman quarterback, 5 of 11, 55 yards so far. Isaac Avant has 43 yards rushing. Thompson in trouble, makes a couple of misses, can't get through the rest of the swarm of gold jerseys, and he'll go down.
Well, that was a run-pass option again, an RPO. You hear that talked about a lot now. And Liam decided to throw the ball, but there was nothing there, so ended up running the ball, which it's not designed to do.
Yeah, really just great coverage down the field, and then Sansone sticking with it to come up and trying to rip that ball out. It's a nice job by Thompson to hang on to the football, but a big play for DePaul's defense on first down.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to get a defender to bite with a little bit of a pump fake, and nothing doing.
Pitch out now on 2nd and 13. Avant trying to get around the edge, and will get 3 back out to the 25, maybe 26-yard line before he's out of bounds.
And that's exactly, again, what DePaul wants to do. Try to stretch Wabash, you know, north or east-west on this field and get them really running around the edges and able to stretch that one out for a long third down now.
And just like that, it's 3rd and 10. And DePaul is on the brink of being able to get the ball back, and their fans rise to their feet here in Greencastle. Wearing the gold jerseys for the first time in over a decade. 3rd and 10 for the visiting Little Giants. The freshman Thompson back to pass over the middle. He got another freshman. And Cooper Sullivan with a big first down out to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, Cooper, we talked about how big of a possession receiver he is this year. 29 of his 34 receptions for the year coming into this game were for either first downs, touchdown. They're no exception, gets the first down.
Well, Thompson just really does a nice job of being patient, waiting for Sullivan to come open. He was in the middle of the field, found the soft spot in the defense. That's a huge first down for Wabash.
Sullivan is from Jacksonville, Florida. How did he end up here? Well, he's and his family from the Indianapolis area. He moved to Florida when he was in junior high, so still a lot of family and friends here. Handoff up the middle for positive yards for Avant. Out to about the 47-yard line, so 2nd down and 3 or 4 coming up.
Yeah, the Wabash faithful are certainly excited about seeing a number 2 to number 1 connection for the next several years. And always wondering when it started getting cold a couple weeks ago how Cooper from Jacksonville, Florida, handling catching footballs. Brad, you were a receiver. You talked about catching footballs in the cold. Quite a different animal.
Yeah, it's not fun sometimes.
He's still thinking about, from the DePaul side of things, seeing these guys for 3 more years after this one.
Absolutely.
Pitch out to the left side. Avant tries to cut it up, and he will put a hat on a hat to get right at the marker at midfield, close to a first down. Looks like they're going to spot it about a half a yard short. So third and a couple of feet. I'll give it a full yard now. Spotted at the 49. You can tell, at least we can tell from our vantage point, that Wabash didn't care for that spot.
I agree with him. I think he was a little bit closer to midfield than where they put the football down. Not sure if he was right at the 50-yard line, but still 1 good yard to go here for Wabash.
So 3rd and 1, tie game, 10:35 to play in the Monon Bell Classic. Thompson will keep it himself, and he'll get the first down. Lassoed down from behind after a pickup of a yard or two, and there's the flag coming late. Wondering if we'd see a horse collar. Too far away for me to see from the naked eye whether that was a legal tackle or not.
A lot of times when it looks violent, it usually ends up drawing a flag. We'll have to see a replay to see if in fact it's warranted, and if that's what the call is.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, defense number 5. 15 yards added to the end of the run, automatic first down.
Well, watching these players down, I'm seeing a lot of talking back and forth between the linemen.
By the letter of the law, that's it. It's so tough for the defender, though. You're just trying to grasp anything you can get, and that's a bit of a gray area. He's just getting the back of the jersey there.
Yeah, I think when he first put his hand on the back there, he had just enough to probably warrant the call, but that is a really tough one.
Yeah, anytime you pull them backwards, they added that, it's a safety foul to pull somebody backwards, and to take them down that way, it's going to be a foul.
So first down, fake handoff. Thompson rolling to the right, throwing to the right. It's the tight end Martinez with the catch for about 4 or 5 yards to the 30.
Ivan's been a big possession receiver from the tight end position this year. We have not seen him yet. I think that's his first catch today. It's the first time I think he's even been targeted today. He had a big touchdown pass last year on that throwback late in the game that kind of put the game, didn't put it out of hand, but gave Wabash a 2-score lead to throw back to him in the end zone.
Last year, Wabash jumped out early. A big play in the opening moments, then a defensive play. Then DePaul fought back, and it was a 1-score game late. Here it's been tight all day long. Avant left side into the open field, down to the 20-yard line for another Wabash first down.
Yeah, it's really remarkable how the Wabash offense has come out this second half as compared to the first half. And Coach Morrell said he needed to get that taken care of. You talked about last year's defensive score last year for Wabash. Brad and I were talking about in each of the last 2 Monon Bell games, Wabash has had a fumble return for a touchdown. Last year was a 54-yarder.
DePaul would love one of those right now.
Yeah.
It'd be great for,
yeah.
They could turn the tables, but yeah, this is a big possession now in the red zone for the Little Giants.
At the DePaul 20-yard line. Tie game in the Monon Bell Classic. Thompson going to his left, and he's going to be hauled down. And that is the young man who was just called for the horse collar penalty a moment ago, Josh Potabom, a junior from Missouri, making that big play.
Yeah, Potabom with a bit of redemption here after the horse collar, and this time you could see very careful to make sure he goes with the bear hug approach as opposed to the horse collar.
So a loss of 3, 2nd and 13 now. Thompson from the gun. Looking right. Steps back, lost the ball, it's loose! It's picked up by DePaul, and the Tigers have it! Dylan Hyatt picks up the fumble.
Now 60 yards would have been better for DePaul to run that back in for a touchdown, but how about the timing of that? I mean, it just looked like Thompson didn't know where he wanted to go. The pressure was there to knock the football out, and a huge play, maybe the biggest defensive play DePaul has had in a Bell game in a couple of years.
Yeah, you called it, Brad. You talked about a pick and score on a fumble. Didn't quite get the score, but what you can't do as a quarterback is you have to tuck it away when you're getting pressured, because when you have the ball in one hand, it doesn't take much. Look, you get a little hand there by 28, and the ball's gone.
Henry Locke forced it. And Dylan Hyatt, who has 4 career interceptions, might have had the biggest turnover of his career there with the fumble recovery. And from their 40 in a tie game, the host DePaul Tigers have the football. Andrews with the quarterback keeper gets nowhere.
Yeah, so now if you're DePaul, you got to move the football, right? And so you look at Chase Andrews there on the keeper. I think that's the third or fourth drive in a row. It seems like that DePaul has come out and run that play, trying to get something, but nothing doing there. And Will Harris has been so big over the middle, out on the boundaries, just 10-yard, 12-yard catches, and we'll see if they maybe look his way again.
Noah Jones, 17 carries, 51 yards on the day. It's a pass play. Andrees is going to be picked off. It's intercepted. Jake Page gives it right back to the Little Giants.
Back-to-back turnovers. Wow. We had just talked about it's been an odd game, but the only turnover we had was this scoop and score from Wabash early, and now we get back-to-back in two different plays. 2 plays apart, I should say.
Yeah, Andrews looking for the tight end, West on that play, Duncan West, and just no one really was that open. I mean,
no, we had
turned to cut, but the defender right in front of him.
Yeah, he had 2 outs. You had the tight end running out and the outside receiver running it out. I think he thought Jake Page might go try to get outside underneath the outside receiver, and Jake didn't move.
Yeah, I agree. Duncan West was there, and then the third defender comes in. It's the first interception of the year for Jake Page, 5th career. And Wabash has it back inside DePaul territory. Avan puts it on the turf. I think Wabash covered it. No, it's still loose. Wabash does have it.
Wow.
One of the offensive linemen fell on it for a big loss.
It was Jake Slager. Great job by him to be able to get down and pick that ball up with 2 gold jerseys bearing down on him.
We just said not many turnovers, and then the Monon Bell game broke out.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Slager is who fell on it. Center from Lowell, Indiana. One of the co-captains. And we have an injury timeout down on the field, and that's Cooper Sullivan, the outstanding freshman wide receiver. So he is slow to get up. We'll check on him, and we'll get back at it in a tied Monon Bell Classic from Greencastle. It's the Monon Bell Classic, and it is living up to its name today. Since 1890, almost every year since 1911, Wabash and DePaul have finished up the regular season, and they're doing it again in style today. 10-10, 7:17 to go. Kevin Lee, Steve Hoffman, Brad Wakamerka, Will Hampton. It's been tough taking care of the football here in the last few possessions. And on 2nd and long, Wabash back to pass and finding a man over near the sideline. It is caught by Nick Hammond. Was he inbounds or not? It's ruled that he is right on the DePaul sideline, and they're jumping up and down disagreeing. It would be just short of a first down. It's called a catch.
I'll tell you, with the way they're reacting, I'd be curious to see what we see on the sideline, because
Bill Lynch is livid.
Well, this is just a huge play. It was 2nd and 19. Right. Now it's going to be 3rd and 3. You only need 1 foot.
And did he have control when he came down? There's 1 foot down.
In, wasn't it?
I think it might be a good catch. I think that right foot is going to be down in time before the left foot goes out of bounds.
Yeah, that's good. That's
was.
Yep.
Good call.
Good job by the officials.
Now that said, I don't blame Bill for disagreeing.
No,
yeah,
and
they see that other foot coming, and they see that foot coming down. But you're right, in real time for an official to get that right, and it's a good call.
Well, and this is not a great play by DePaul. I mean, good protection up front by Wabash, honestly, to give Thompson plenty of time to throw that ball long down the field. But 2nd and 19, I mean, you just can't give up a play like that if you're the Tigers.
And that came after a fumble by Thompson. The quarterback was covered for that 9-yard loss. Wabash will spend one of their 3 timeouts here with 6:31 left to give them a chance to regroup, regather, and give Bill Lynch a chance to offer his opinions here for a moment.
He doesn't get the super slow-mo advantage that we do up here.
Right. No, you're right.
So just like that, it's at the 40. Still 3rd down as we watch Nick Hammond, the junior from Carmel, Indiana, and Heritage Christian High School, making just a beautiful catch. Great footwork to get the The 1 foot you need down. In the NFL, not good enough. Here it is.
That's right. I want to talk a little bit about number 64, Jake Slager, Wabash's center, who fell on that fumble, which was a big play that you'd mentioned, Brad. He was one of 3 football players who transferred to Wabash when St. Joseph College closed down 3 years ago. He and Ike James were 2 of them, and so they've just been quite something for our football program. They played together at Lowell, actually.
Slager getting set to snap to Thompson on 3rd down and short. Inside the paw territory, it's their workhorse, Avan, who's going to be close to the marker. Dives forward for 2 or 3. It's where the ball is, and I think he might be just a little bit short.
Yeah, they're going to mark him short, and let's see if Don Morrell decides to go for it. Offense staying out there, and they're going to measure.
Well, that's advantage. Wabash saves them a timeout, gives them a chance to think about what they want here. But I think you're right, Brad, that this is a fairly easy decision that you're going to go for it here at this end of the field.
Call me, I have no idea why they're measuring this. The stick is sitting at the 42 on the far side. The football is on, I'm sorry, the stick was at the 37. The football's at the 30. Look at that. I don't know why they did
that was odd.
Yeah. All right, well, better safe than sorry.
Chain guys.
Yeah.
FaceTime.
It's in their contract.
It must be.
They get on TV more than Steve does.
Hey, they're cold over there too. They got to run and jog.
So Wabash has gone for it on 4th down once today. They were successful. This will be 4th and a full yard from the DePaul 38. The Monon Bell game is tied. It's the 4th quarter. The road team with the ball. The DePaul fans come to their feet. 4th and 1. Thompson, Davan, up the middle for the first down.
Well, they may want to measure.
Come on, Brad.
Let's wait. Brad's getting feisty up here in the 4th quarter.
I don't blame you. He's cold.
No, that's right.
That's right. That's right.
I do want to make a correction. I said Jake Slager came from St. Joseph University. He did not. He actually played with Ike James in high school at Lowell High School.
Okay.
Came through another Rockford University, not St. Joseph. So don't want to leave a bad fact out there, Brad. I do enough of that. I do enough of that.
We all mess up.
We like having fact checkers.
Yeah.
So a fresh set of downs. Avan again on 1st down in this tie Monon Bell game. He'll get 3, maybe 4 yards. And I think if you're Wabash, you're okay picking up 3-4 yards of play. I think be just perfect in their mind that make sure this is the last possession of the game if you somehow can do that.
Yeah, we've really been successful moving the chain since not being able to do that in the first half. And, you know, under 6 minutes now, really thinking about, you know, like you said, Kevin, just now 3 or 4 yards of pop and trying to get closer. And if we have to kick a field goal, Skyler's had a good year doing that.
I think it's unlikely from this point in the game. 5 minutes left, it's going to be the last possession, but you can leave DePaul with less than a full possession and not much time on the clock, and they'll move the chains again. Avant for the first down to the 26-yard line. Looked like nearly the 25, but just outside. Still should be enough for the fresh set of downs.
Coach Lynch is wanting a holding call. A couple suspect ones in there I saw in that running play.
And that's exactly what you want to be doing if you're Wabash. I mean, keeping the ball on the ground, clock moving.
Now, if and when it comes to it, DePaul has all 3 of their timeouts. They wouldn't use them at this point. First down from the DePaul 26-yard line. Pitch out to the left. Avant cuts it up. Another 6 yards to the 20-yard line.
You know, the one thing you saw there from Avant, which we didn't see early in his career, is he now runs hard. It took him, I think, is really even through last year, he didn't run as hard as he has been this year. And maybe it's because he's become the man, right? It's him, and he's got to be that kind of back. But he hits holes now and will really do what he can to get the extra yardage.
At Warren Central in Indianapolis, football powerhouse, he probably saw a lot of big holes, too.
Yeah, probably did.
You kind of pick your spots.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Second down, 4 from the DePaul 20. Thompson will keep it on the ground. Avant again, 3 more. 3rd and short coming up with 3:37 left.
Huge play coming up here, obviously for the DePaul defense, because if you can stop Wabash. Then Don Morell's got a decision to make if he tries to kick the field goal and go up as the clock continues to tick. But a first down here, and essentially Wabash can salt a few more minutes or force DePaul to take all their timeouts.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Now keep in mind, there are no gimme field goals in college football, or as we have seen in pro football in many cases. Third down. A long yard. Thompson will keep it himself. Cuts up, cuts back. First down to the 12-yard line as the clock continues to tick. And now very safely in makeable field goal range.
Boy, what a drive that Wabash has put together just when it's needed.
Yeah, doing what we thought that they would do from the outset, running the ball very effectively and really running the ball, kind of between the tackles, just off tackle, nothing too far to the outside.
I haven't seen Cooper or Sullivan back in since he went off the field with an injury.
He did hobble off. He walked off under his own power and was walking pretty well, but he's not in there right now. They have kept it on the ground with Avant again. This time DePaul shuts him down.
But the three of us keep looking at the clock, because that clock seems to be moving really quickly, doesn't it? We're down to 2 minutes right now. Yeah. That's what happens when you don't go out of bounds and keep the ball on the ground. It just keeps running. And
thought maybe we'd see Bill Lynch use one there. It's clear he's going to let the time tick down here, and I would imagine after this play he'll probably start to use those timeouts.
My thought was inside 2 minutes is when you start burning them. Now maybe if they get a stop here, you're trying to save it so you have 3 thinking you're going to get it back with a minute 15 or so. Fake handoff. Thompson rolling, throwing to the end zone, back of the end zone. It is incomplete. He caught it, but he was out of the back of the end zone.
And that helps DePaul a ton because that stops the clock.
Devin Anderson made the catch, but did not get a foot down, and they are talking about it. There is a discussion. Let's look at it.
Well, I thought he had room to get a foot down, but
he goes up. Was that left foot still on the ground when he caught the ball before he went in the air? Or did it come down right there?
No,
where's that foot?
That's the one that's in.
That's down.
Like it's in.
Ooh. Oh.
That's very similar to the good call catch over here on the sideline where it's boom, boom, but boy, that's a miss.
And it is ruled incomplete. Devin Anderson, sophomore from Carroll High School, Camden, Indiana. 4 touchdowns on the season, should have had number 5.
Wow,
a perfect throw from Thompson and a great catch.
And in fairness to these officials,
it's tough.
No, I'm just saying they don't get the replay.
Correct.
Right? Division I can make a call. All right, let's stop and get an instant replay review. Yep. So their call is it. Yeah.
It's bang bang.
And again, the clock stopping huge for DePaul at this point.
So now 3rd and 10. And it's Avant again. They'll keep it on the ground and set up the field goal. So DePaul does get the stop in field goal range. Timeout with a minute 35 to go.
Yeah, I think they're just going to put a few more seconds back on, is my guess, yeah.
So, just a brutal call for Wabash, that touchdown pass being called incorrectly. And there's those, I think, on the DePaul side that would harken back to 2 years ago on the 2-point conversion that Don Morell went for in this very same end zone. Very similar play. Replay showed that may have been a half-yard short upon review, but a bang-bang call that the officials, were unable to see in real time. So something about this end zone close in bell games the last few years.
Injured player down on the field for Wabash is their left guard, Thomas Bolin from Perry Meridian in Indianapolis. And now he's getting helped to his feet, but he's hobbling a little bit. So it's 4th down and 11. A minute 40 on the clock. DePaul called the timeout. They have 2 remaining. If it comes into play, Wabash has 2 if they want it. The game is tied at 10. Skylar Narig has already hit a field goal in the day. He's 9 of 14 this season. He's got a big leg. He's tried as long as a 53-yard field goal this season. He has a couple of field goals outside of 40 yards. And this one could go a long way towards winning the Monon Bell. It will be a 30-yarder from the left hash. Zach McCann is the holder. Drew Buttram, the long snapper. The Little Giants trying to go back in front at DePaul. Snap down, kick up, and it is good. Skylar Narig has put Wabash back in front in the Monon Bell game with 1:36 to go.
From having to pick up trash in the stands 2 years ago to getting the game-leading kick with 1.5 to go.
So Wabash back in front with their second field goal of the day to go along with a defensive touchdown. But DePaul is going to get another chance. Can they pull it out in what might be another classic in the Monon Bell? 13-10, Wabash in front, 1:36 remaining in Greencastle. .136 to play in the 126th meeting between Wabash and DePaul. And the visiting Little Giants on Skylar Narig's 30-yard field goal are in front, 13-10. A pair of field goals for Narig, a defensive touchdown. DePaul will get it back with 2 timeouts and a chance to bring the Bell back to Greencastle.
You know, Steve, we were talking during the break, and I thought you made a great point. I'm not sure either one of these offenses we've seen today is built to go on a 2-minute drive. And so, you know, we haven't seen big explosive plays from either. And DePaul is going to need that here. You know, maybe throwing the ball down the field, trying to get a penalty, some kind of break, because 1:36 is not a lot of time the way the offense has moved the ball.
When they set up their offense with the run, and then you just can't do that when there's 1.5 minutes left in the game.
Narig kicked it out of bounds last time. This time, straight down the pipe, end over end, fielded at the 10-yard line and back to the 20 on the return for Josh Major. The Monon Bell has never seen overtime. Now, granted, they've only been playing that format for the past little over 20 years, but still, and there have been quite a few ties. I think 9 is the number in this classic. We won't see a tie today. We have seen a field goal from DePaul, just their 3rd of the season, but they're thinking touchdown. What's the idea here, starting from your 25 when you're not super explosive?
I think well, I don't know how they do it. We just got to move the chains. You hear them talking about that in the 2 minutes. Somehow move the chains, and they can't completely abandon the run. They're going to have to get a draw or maybe a quarterback draw in there.
I think you try to move Andrews a little bit around on some rollouts if you can.
Starting the drive with 1:31 to go, and it's a quick out to Will Harris for 8 yards.
Boy, the throw a little higher would have let him get out of bounds, and that's quite a difference.
We have 2 timeouts available, 1:15. Down 3 over the middle, and that's caught for the first down. Yes, it is. Caught by Josh Major.
Yeah, that's okay. Short pass, move the chains, because it'll stop.
Stop for just a moment. Now rolls again. Helps to have a veteran quarterback and Andrews in there. He started much of the season last year. Has dealt with injuries some this year. And now he's in trouble. Trying to get away. Does get away. Rolling to his right. Trying to make something happen or just get to the sideline, and he will, to stop the clock out of bounds at the 41-yard line. But 22 seconds or so elapsed on that play from the last one.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brad.
You know, a sack would have been a disaster there. So while it was 22 seconds, at least Andrews able to get out of bounds. Didn't get any yards, but it was a long 22 seconds for no gain.
Well, and if you're a Wabash fan, the scary thing is seeing him run around back there, and who knows who's going to get open downfield on a broken play.
48 seconds left on second down. Andrews going down the right sideline. He's got a man in stride. It's caught. Gavin Ritter to the goal line. Touchdown, DePaul.
Unbelievable. We haven't seen a play for DePaul that big in a Monon Bell. Well, maybe since before Matt Hunt to Andy Hunt. 38 seconds left. Amazing for DePaul.
62 yards. Chase Andrews hit Gavin Ritter in stride. He outraced the Little Giants. Last effort, a dive to the goal line, and DePaul leads the Monon Bell game with 38 seconds to go. One of the best we've ever seen.
Well, Wabash brought a corner blitz on that one. Jose Franco actually rushed Andres, and I don't know what was going on with the coverage, and you just can't let anybody behind you in that situation.
Big point after. Jack Brush hits it, so it takes a touchdown for Wabash to win this game. Not a field goal to send it to overtime. 38 3/10 left to Paw 17. Wabash 13. Akiwa almost got him. He did, but about 2 yards too late.
And that was just a perfect pitch and catch. Ritter was given just enough room by Andrews to be able to catch that ball in stride and sprint down the sideline at full speed for the touchdown. And I mean, the last thing I can think that's happened on this field that maybe was that amazing was the Hail Mary in 2001 in that same end zone in that same corner where Wabash won on the last play.
It sure was. I was standing out of bounds on the 10-yard line on that play, but freshman Willie Gupton on that coverage, we don't know what kind of coverage it was, but he was the one chasing him. And then Artie Akiwa nearly getting there before he made it into the end zone. But like I said, corner blitz and mixing it up a little bit that time.
And Steve, we said it'd probably take a busted play, a strange play, something like that to move the ball, and that's what we saw. Now the same thing applies. I mean, still 38 seconds to go, 2 timeouts for Wabash. DePauw's going to have to be very careful not to have a breakdown similar to what we saw there.
Not done yet, though. Wabash still has a couple of timeouts. They'll get it back. It's a squib kick, and it's fielded up front to try to save as much time as possible. Return to the 31-yard line. Cooper Oaks on the return, one of the up men. So 33 and a tenth to go. Wabash needs a touchdown. But Brad, you mentioned 2001. Here you go.
I was about where we're standing right now for this game. I was a student calling the game on the radio, actually, and this pass, amazing. The Hail Mary off the helmet, I believe, into the end zone for the Wabash win with no time left.
Wabash has to go 70-plus yards, and it's going to start with a sack, and is the ball loose? Just a sack. They'll use a timeout.
I think he did lose the ball briefly, but it went right into the arms of one of the offensive linemen.
I think Zanca was one of those there that forced the sack. And then covered by Bolin.
Well, and what you don't want to do is you don't want to have to use a timeout that quickly.
Yeah.
Because you're going to throw it for a first down that stops the clock briefly, or you're going to throw it to get out of bounds, or it's going to be incomplete.
Here's a look again. That's Zonk, a big 66 coming right up the middle. He did get to him. Did the ball come loose? Yes, it did. And it was covered by Bolin.
Yeah, the thing here is, I mean, you want to try to run a play or two to get the ball somewhere near midfield so you have an opportunity to throw the ball into the end zone.
From their 26, the freshman Thompson back to pass. It's complete over the middle. And still a long way to go.
So Wabash burning another timeout, and third and a couple, but that doesn't matter. It's, you know, I think you can get another 10 yards here, get a first down. That would give you an opportunity to probably run one more play before you'd have to throw the ball into the end zone.
Yeah, you got to get to the point where you can heave it down there.
And so Wabash is out of timeouts.
You know, or you pull out a hook and ladder or some kind of play like that where you have it, you've practiced it each week.
So they need to go 62 yards. How long was the touchdown just a moment ago?
Yeah,
62 yards.
Yeah.
So you're saying there's a chance. It is not
over.
over.
There's always a chance in this game.
Third down and 3 or 62, if you want to look at it that way. They can stop the clock briefly and down it if they get a first down. A wind up and a quick pass to Skeens. Heisman Skeens gets the first down, shy of midfield. Clock stops with 12 seconds. And they'll spike it to stop it with 10 and 7/10 left.
Okay, so now you have an opportunity to run something, you know, along the sidelines, get a few more yards, see if you can make that throw more manageable.
Or even a first down in the middle that stops the clock. try to spike it as soon as they blow it back into play. You should be able to get one more out of that, depending on how long this first one would take. Looks like DePaul's now calling a timeout.
Yeah, not surprised there. Bill Lynch is going to want to really make sure he's got all his guys set exactly where he needs them. He'll have a whole host of guys deep. You know, you protect the boundaries a little bit in this case, because there's a chance where, you know, something called over the middle of the field could run the clock out or get very, very close, depending on how long someone runs around.
By the way, we still haven't seen Cooper Sullivan come back in the game.
That's a good point.
And that was Reese Thomas a moment ago, a freshman wide receiver not listed anywhere on the depth chart. They caught a pass, and he was in there just a moment ago. So they've had to dig a little bit deeper, obviously going 4 wide at this point, and with one of their regulars not available.
See the DePaul students on the south end zone ready to do what they need to do. I don't know where the bell is.
I don't know. Usually it gets moved to an end zone at this point in the game.
That's what I thought.
So second down and 10. 10 and 7/10 left. No timeouts for Wabash. Trailing by 4 towards the sideline. Bobbled. Was it caught? Out of bounds. It was caught by Anderson. And that stops the clock with 5 seconds left, and they're within a range where they can heave it to the end zone now from the 35. And DePaul is going to use their last timeout of the game. Let's see if he had this one. Got both feet down. We won't be able to see there if he was bobbling the ball or not, but clearly not just 1, but 2 feet in bounds.
It's a nice play. Not a lot of room for error there. I mean, that ball's 1 yard to the left. It's intercepted.
And after Wabash had a touchdown taken away a moment ago, no one's going to complain too much whether he had control of the ball at this point.
Yeah. And you know, being on the 35, it's a little bit, and you get a little bit more. You get more options than just a Hail Mary. You could almost throw something a little bit underneath everybody if you wanted to, and let somebody run a little bit. But either way, you got one play.
Yeah,
you do whatever you want to do.
No, you're right, Steve. That's an option where maybe you clear the middle of the field, you try to run something, maybe, you know, a lateral or two. Or even, you know, we've seen teams start to move to this where, you know, you throw something in the middle of the field with a few blockers downfield and almost turn it into a punt return or a kick return and see if you can have some success with that.
Or some kind of, just even a
hook and lateral, think of something there.
We've covered the gamut there with what we think we could do.
Which means we don't know. We're going to watch.
I think we can mention everything but the quarterback sneak.
And maybe a draw.
Should be the last play of the game to decide the 126 Monon Bell Classic. Wabash needs a touchdown. Thompson in trouble. He's going down. Ball still live. No, they call him down. That's it. DePaul will keep the bell in Greencastle. Wabash had it the last 2 years. It will stay with the host Tigers. The final, DePaul 17. Wabash 13.
Just an incredible finish to this game. This is one, like many in this series, that people are going to talk about for a long, long time for a variety of reasons. The touchdown that wasn't, the amazing long touchdown play at the end for DePaul. Wabash with a nice drive there at the end to give themselves an opportunity, and Thompson just couldn't buy enough time to throw the ball downfield. And DePaul, for just the second time in 10 years, keeping the Monon Bell or bringing the Monon Bell back to Greencastle.
And both of those wins have come in spectacular fashion. We referenced it earlier, the Matt Hunt to Andy Hunt touchdown late in that game. And here today it was a 62-yard third down pass from Chase Andrews to Gavin Ritter to win the Monon Bell. It came with 38 seconds to play.
Yeah, it was such 2 different games, it seemed to me, in the first half. I mean, neither team could do anything. The defenses were stepping up and really playing well. And 118 yards to 63 yards in total offense at half. And then in the second half, both teams started moving up and down the field, and we had field goals, we had touchdowns, and this is your typical Monon Bell game, guys.
And there is the bell. I mentioned it will stay in Greencastle. That's because that's where it physically is right now. But it's been in Crawfordsville for most of the last decade and for the last 2+ years. And Chase Andrews is one of the heroes.
This is just, 4 years in a row with really, really good games that I think encompass everything this rivalry is about. Good back and forth, the 2-2 split in the last 4 years, and this one will be one that's remembered for a long, long time. I mean, wouldn't surprise me if we see DePaul in these gold jerseys a little more often after this one.
So how about this? Cumulative scores of the last 4 years. separated by 1 point for Wabash. It was +5, if you wanted to look at it from that perspective for Wabash coming in. So now it's +1, 2-2 over the last 4 years.
Just incredible. Shows how close this rivalry is, and you know, these two programs, how similar they are in terms of the success, the type of football that they play. You know, and I think, Steve, the one thing for Wabash that you take away from this game is there is one more game, and maybe more after that. The season's not over. The playoffs start next week for Wabash, who clinched a share of the conference championship and the playoff berth. So, you know, it'll be tough for the Little Giants today, probably tomorrow, but they've got a game week, and it's something they can look forward to next week.
Yeah, it's a strange time to go back on the field. To right now think you're going to still be playing, because we have been around this rivalry so long, Brad, that this is it, right? The game's over and the season's done, especially when you're on the losing side. Typically, if someone going to playoffs has just won this game, and it's quite different. So, you know, we'll see how Wabash and the coaches can respond going into next week.
Chase Andrews is down there somewhere in that throng of old gold and black jerseys, and what a day he had today. 16 of 24, 210 yards, a touchdown, and the biggest of his life, but he made the throws to get them in position for that biggest touchdown of his life.
And so many of these were, you know, to Will Harris, 8 catches, 78 yards, just had a huge game, but then this, the difference maker, the bomb to Ritter. I mean, that's just man-on-man, one-on-one, and Ritter able to get behind the defense. A beautiful throw from Andrews, and a play again that'll be remembered for a long, long time, not just for those young men, but for DePaul alumni everywhere.
And really, the only miscue he had when we saw him throwing the ball was that interception to Jake Page. Other than that, 16-24, that's a good day, and just really ran the offense as Coach Lynch would like him to run it.
DePaul had a losing season last year. They finished this one 6-4. They're used to 8-2 in that range. So when you consider the number of injuries that they had, quarterback and running back out a lot of times along with some others, it's a pretty solid season for DePaul.
Yeah, I think on Bill Lynch's Christmas wish list is going to be a healthy quarterback for 10 games next year. It's been a few seasons since DePaul has had that, and you know, you look at what Chase Andrews has done now the last 2 years, missed a couple of games this year. You hope that he's able to come back, be a senior leader, be healthy, get a full 10 games. This could be a pretty good football team next season.
Wabash is 7-3. As mentioned, they had already clinched at least a tie of the NCAC Conference Championship, and they had the automatic berth to the postseason, so they'll find out tomorrow where they will go next in the playoffs. Well, this was a lot of fun. You can't get any better than this, especially from your point, Brad, so we'll let you go first.
There's been a lot of years, the last 10, 11 years, that it hasn't been this good of a feeling on the DePaul sidelines. So, no, congratulations to these kids, to Coach Bill Lynch, and really just this rivalry, another amazing chapter. What a game.
Yeah, you know what, a Monon Bell game, we've seen it before, and this one will go in the history books just like the other ones.
For Steve Hoffman, Brad Walker-Merker, and Will Hampton, I'm Kevin Lee. What a Monon Bell classic. It was a classic. DePaul 17, Wabash 13. Thanks for joining us on Fox Sports Indiana.